your bases covered. Visit Rod's Power Sports just south of Lincoln in Roca or at rodspowersports.com. Rod's Power Sports, where the winning season never ends.
It's easy to underestimate the importance of water conservation. So here are some unbelievable facts to put things into perspective. For every drop of water that you save, a child learns to read and an alien invasion is postponed. But for every drop of water that you waste, a monkey can no longer taste bananas and an animal cracker becomes extinct. Are these facts true? I don't know. But I do know that Hunt Irrigation, the Water Smart company, can upgrade your existing irrigation system and can save you up to 30% on your water bill. Hunt Irrigation, the Water Smart choice.
Looking to make a positive change? Do the extraordinary. Help others by helping research. We are seeking healthy adults ages 19 to 55 to join a research study at Solarion and help advance medical breakthroughs. Earn up to $500 a day while making a meaningful difference for others and for yourself. For more information, visit helpresearch.com/new or call 866-213-2965. Overnight stays and return visits may be required.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health and dental vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, showers likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy with an afternoon high around 75. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise mostly cloudy, a low around 63. And tomorrow, more showers and storms possible, otherwise partly sunny and breezy, the high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman,
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black Shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour 1 of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Old School. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. I am not Jay Foreman. I am not the Duke diehard fan. Austin Orman, I'm Harrison Arns, filling just for a little bit here. For all the Jay Foreman fans, don't you worry. He'll be here roughly, give him like 20 minutes or so. He'll be joining us after this segment for the entirety of the rest of the show. With that being said, you guys are welcome to join in. Until then, we could just make this the texter segment as we wait for Jay Foreman. 402-464-5685. And before we get to sports, hour 1 of Old School is brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is based out of Halem, Nebraska, and they offer free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl, triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more information at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Appreciate those guys as always. And if you need some windows, it is a little bit that storm time of year. That wind's going to be blowing hard. If you're a little bit unsure about how your windows will hold up, give Heartland of Windows a call. We got Eric chiming in. Don't worry, Eric. You can get the said my man Jay freaking Foreman. After a long, hard week of work, Friday is here. Happy Grilling Friday. Unfortunately, he won't be able to read that text until the meantime. But with that being said, I can give you some baseball scores, then we'll preview a little bit of Nebraska. They should be getting rolling here as we're speaking, though, with their game versus South Dakota State with Carson Jassa on the mound. So we'll talk about what that means. But before we get there, let's just kind of preview all the scores across regionals baseball right now. It's been interesting so far on the first day. You do have East Carolina currently leading Tennessee. It is the bottom of the 13th inning. That one has been going extra innings for a while now. Let's see. It was 0 runs until the ninth, it was 1-1. Tennessee got a run in the bottom of the 4th, and East Carolina got a run at the top of the 5th, and then it was nothing until the 9th inning where they were able to put up a run, and both teams were tied it up 2-2. And then in the 13th inning, East Carolina got 1 run. They are still at bat. Tennessee, to keep this game alive, they will need to respond at the bottom of the 13th inning to try to get a run. Otherwise, this game is done and over. We do have Ryder in Florida, one that everyone had circled that also may be going into extra innings. It is the bottom of the 9th inning, and it is currently tied. Well, take it back. Florida just got a run. It was tied. It was 7-7. Now it is 7-8. Florida looks like they'll make a narrow victory here. Moving on to some other games that have been interesting. Milwaukee is starting to lose their lead. For those who can keep an eye on it, number 4 Auburn, which is this is a game that obviously we circle. If number 4 Auburn does not win their regional and Nebraska makes it through their regional, we get to host Super Regional. So we want Auburn to lose here as Nebraska fans. And currently they are till Milwaukee. Milwaukee was 25-31 to end the season. Currently they're playing Auburn, who finished 38-19 on the season, 12-7. And it is the top of the 8th inning. So there's not a lot of time left for Auburn to try to get back into this game. It actually looks like we're at the bottom of the 8th inning there. So keep a close eye on that one. 12-7. Auburn's still down, but they're certainly starting to close the gap. Texas is putting on an absolute beatdown. Yikes. 18-0 versus Holy Cross, top of the 8th inning. Not much worth to say about that game. Oklahoma State in their regional versus USC Upstate. Currently it is 6-5. USC Upstate is leading that game. You got Lipscomb versus number 14 Mississippi State. Mississippi State leading it 5-0. UCLA, number 1 UCLA, is down 1-0 versus St. Mary's. It is still early as the top of the 4th inning, but UCLA finding themselves behind currently. You do have Florida State. St. John's just got rolling. Washington State, Oregon State just got top of the 5th, It is 1-1 in that game. Lamar University, Texas A&M just got rolling, and South Dakota State, Nebraska just started here as well. Won't give you score updates as that one goes. And I encourage you guys to join along for the post-game show when that one rolls on tonight. I'd imagine probably right around 6 o'clock, we should be able to have the post-game show, which works out perfectly because we'll finish up old school and we should be able to roll right into that one. Looking at the text line, we got Maddie's dad saying, I'm not sure what that one means. If you want to have more context, feel free to. We have unknown texter, quote, they should be getting rolling. Why don't you tell ESPN to play the bleeping game for us? Sorry, it's a sour subject. Go Big Red. Yeah, it's on ESPN Plus for us. So if you want to watch Nebraska versus South Dakota State, you need to have ESPN Plus. That's the way they're doing it. It's unfortunate, but that is the opportunity to go ahead and watch Nebraska baseball versus South Dakota State. Yeah, I don't know why this stuff isn't broadcasted in a broader way where it'd be like NCAA March Madness where you can watch these games all day and you schedule them out so it's game after game after game after game. I get it's a little bit different with it being double elimination. It doesn't always work out that way. However, yeah, I'm always a little bit disgruntled how baseball, especially in the Big Ten, it does a really bad job broadcasting Big Ten baseball games. And then even in the regionals here, like it's not fun that I have to go to ESPN Plus to try to watch Nebraska versus South Dakota State. That being said, that game is off and rolling. And some interesting things in this one. And text line could chime in on this. Tell me what you think. So Will Bolt went with the decision to go ahead and start their ace, Carson Jassa. And the reason for this, I think, is when you get to regionals, you just can't lose game one. I mean, you can, but you really, really obviously don't want to. You lose that first game, you have to go and win 4 straight after. And that's the whole thing. So I can understand the argument that you want to save your pitchers for, you know, whether it's Ole Miss or Arizona State Sun Devils if you win this game into the next one. But this first game is so important. And a little bit of math behind it. So the teams that lose their first game in the NCAA baseball regionals have roughly, it's around a 15% chance to actually come out of that regional. So that one loss right there, and again, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. If you lose that one, you have to go on and win 4 straight. You really hurt your chances of moving on to the next round. So that's why I think, although you might look at it as a risk, in my mind, it's really playing it safe. But I don't think, I wouldn't be worried, you know, if we didn't go this route. Do I think South Dakota State's going to beat us? Probably not. But in the slim chance that they do, you're in a really bad spot. Because even if you, say, lose this game, you're still going to get Arizona State or Ole Miss. The chances of beating those guys easily is not a given by any means. So I think I kind of, at least in my opinion, I'm okay with the decision. We saw the same thing in softball. South Dakota State comes in there, or excuse me, South Dakota, not South Dakota State, the Coyotes, South Dakota, for Nebraska softball when we were hosting regionals. You know, they went out there with Fromm. They weren't going to go around and play with their food because, again, if you do not respect your opponent and you lose that first game, the odds drop significantly. And again, I just went through the NCAA baseball scores for a reason. I'm not sure what these lineups look like for their pitchers, but, you know, with Auburn, maybe wasn't respecting their opponent. In Milwaukee, well, it's the top of the 8th, and they're still down 12-7. If Oklahoma State wasn't respecting USC upstate, well, they're down 6-5. Even East Carolina, Tennessee tied up 3-3. UCLA is down 1-0, the number 1 seed in the entire thing. You see these upsets left and right. And that's why, again, I am such a firm believer on you just got to go play your best guys available for that first game, because you never want to drop that first one and play catch up and then try to rattle off 4 wins straight after that. Let's see. UCLA game was being broadcasted it on network. It's BS. Yeah, we got 0159 is just horribly ashamed of how we're broadcasting these baseball games. And I'll be honest, I don't completely disagree with them. 402-464-5685. Sorry to him in text line as we're chopping it up as we await for the arrival of the one and only Jay Foreman, the true host of the show. I am currently just filling in. And looking to look at kind of the rest of the baseball regionals here. So for Nebraska, obviously they're in it right now with South Dakota State. And then later tonight at 7, check my eyes here, at 8 p.m., you will have Arizona State and Ole Miss. Obviously right here, first time Lincoln has got to host a regional since 2008, at least for baseball. So keep an eye on that. And then, of course, the Auburn game. Auburn down 7-12. On the other side of their brackets, NC State and UCF. And keep moving around here. And then in Starkville, you do have Mississippi State. Looks like they're going to take care of Lipscomb pretty easily. 7-0 at the 7th inning, top of the 7th inning in that one. With that being said, I think we'll put a pause on it, as I don't want to just keep rereading box scores for you guys over and over and over again. So switch gears a little bit here, and we'll just talk some Husker football since it is off season, and I think the hype's starting to get there. But I'll give you updates as soon as I can. If Nebraska gets a run, or worst case scenario, if South Dakota State gets a run, I'll give you that update as soon as I can in case you're driving. We do have some texters. If you're running late, I will say good luck getting to the game. We do have some people talking about how crazy the traffic is for that regional. I am excited. I will have Jake Sorensen, Jake Bachman. They're down there at the baseball game. I think DP is down there as well. They'll probably call in, and we'll get to hear about the crowd and the atmosphere. And then, of course, if any of you guys are sitting in traffic and you're running horribly late to the game for whatever reason, on your way back, feel free, chime into the show. Text in. You can even call in. I love getting the texters' thoughts, even on the Sartor Heeman phone line as well. So with that being said, let's talk some Husker football, though, and we'll just keep the score updates to score updates in the meantime. Me and Terrell Farley were talking in the last segment. And with football offseason, we're starting to get to that point where tempers are flaring. You got the Campbell-Sarkisian feud going on with Texas Tech and Texas. And when we're looking at Nebraska football, I think the fan base is starting to get back into it. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying the fan base is completely in belief that this is going to be a great year, but I'm seeing the hype start to build up. And the biggest thing for Nebraska football is to show some promise. I mean, they can't have the same letdown they did last year. And I keep saying it the same way because I think it's important. Nebraska football has to look better in the last regular season game than they did in the first regular season game. We have gone year after year after year after year of Nebraska looking good early and actually looking worse by the time the season ends. Now, some of that can be injuries. Some of that is we're letting coaches go, or we're switching coaches' positions in the middle of the season. We're moving quarterbacks around because we don't really know what we got. Like with Jeff Sims' scenario, that was a disaster. Nebraska football has to get to a point where when we get to the end of the season, we can say, hey, this team's gotten better. Look at the development from players X, Y, and Z, or even the coaching staff. We haven't had a lot of seasons where we can say that. You can't get your brakes beat off you by Penn State, Iowa, and then Utah, and none of those games are close, and then say, hey, guys, I know we lost, but I think we got better. And this will turn into development for this next upcoming season. It just puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth, and it's hard to buy in to a team that's really lacking and struggling late in the season. And I think that's the biggest part for Nebraska football, is to get to a point to where you can answer some questions. We'll go through a little bit of the schedule. And we pointed out Indiana earlier, because you're going to have a chance to host the defending national champions who went undefeated last year in your own stadium. That should be looked at as a huge opportunity. And again, you have to go back to making Memorial Stadium a horrifying place for opponents to come and walk into. Every game has to look like Colorado for the players. Now, for the fans, we're fanatics. It ebbs and flows. But for the players, every opponent has to be Colorado. When we played them a couple of years back, you want teams, again, to walk in there and almost feel embarrassed, or at least feel like you got absolutely had a train, run into you. Because when you look at that Colorado game, guys were hitting hard. Dante Dowdell absolutely ran through one of the Sanders brothers and hurt his wrist to the point where he couldn't play the rest of the game. Wasn't dirty. It was a clean hit. But that's the type of aggression and the type of fearlessness that you want to see when you're at home. So for Nebraska football, they'll have Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota. Never know what happens, but you should go 3-0. Then you have Michigan State, new head coach with Fitzgerald. So you don't know what they look like, but it is year one. You should be able to beat them. You beat them last year. Then you have Maryland, a team who's really been down and out. That's 5 matchups right there that Nebraska should be favored in the first 5 games to go 5-0. And then it is Indiana. And then after Indiana, it's Oregon on the road. So that's what I mean by this Indiana game can't be taken lightly. I'm not saying that they have to go and win it, but you have to show something that you can at least be fiscal and competitive. And being competitive doesn't mean you only lose by 1 score. I mean, you could lose by multiple scores, but sometimes it is the eye test. How does it look? Indiana's a great team. I think Kurt Cignetti's put himself on the podium as being one of the best coaches in college football already, because you don't go to winning nonstop at high school and then all his college stops and then James Madison and Indiana, and all you do and all you've ever done is won. When he said, Google me, and it was kind of laugh tongue in cheek there at the moment, he wasn't laughing. He was serious. And it makes sense for him to say that because all he does is win. So he's put himself in position as one of the best coaches in college football. Again, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So I'm not saying you have to go out there and only lose by 3 or 7 points for us to call it a day, but that eye test, it has to look like there is a real effort and competitiveness to that team. It can't look like when we hosted Michigan, I want to say 2 years ago, and the game was over in the first quarter. It can't look like when Ohio State. I can't say Ohio State. Ohio State, ironically, is one of the teams we usually play better against. For whatever reason, that doesn't translate to teams like Iowa or to teams like, in this case, Indiana, when we played them a while back and with Matt Rule, and they absolutely floored us after we had, a really good start to the year. Indiana kind of proved us to where this team was really at. And it's not all about money. Indiana did not have a $50 million roster. They probably had a cheaper roster than what Nebraska football had when they, really destroyed us on the road. I think that was when they had the Canadian quarterback. It wasn't Mendoza. They called him the Maple Rifle. Roris Kurt. I'm blanking on the name, and it'll come back to me if I think about it a little bit more. But that team, all that to say, was not worth probably nearly as much as what Nebraska's football roster was that year. So it isn't all about money. I know it's important, but I don't want to go to the podium and say, well, we need more NIL money because, listen, we thought we had a bunch, but some teams are putting $50 million into it. You can look at teams that constantly pump a bunch of money into their programs. They don't always win. It's not always the answer. Again, it goes back to having a proven development. That's where Nebraska football takes the next step. Develop as the season goes on. Don't go undefeated in non-con, feel great, and then we hit November, October, and then we can't beat a tough team. We can't beat a ranked opponent. When things get close, even if we're at home, even if their head coach is suspended, we still can't figure out a way to win. And that last year, I think, is another part why it hurts so much. You had a lot of opportunities to do the thing that we weren't able to do. You had Michigan without their head coach and Sherrod Moore for the punishment that he paid. And he actually chose not to be at this one because he wanted to be at his alma mater game. And they let that happen. So you're right there. There's a little bit of disrespect thinking he doesn't need to be there to coach against Nebraska, even though they're on the road. He was cool with it, and he was right for it because they won. Nebraska unable to take advantage of that situation. You had a down Penn State team. James Franklin was not their head coach anymore. A lot of really great athletes. I get it. It's on the road. That crowd was still in it. But the way they got embarrassed was another story. Again, no head coach. UCLA, I know we won that game, and that was a great game to win. But we were getting torched for a little bit on offense by an interim coach. Again, no head coach. Their coach got fired. We had so many opportunities last year with teams that didn't even have their head coach on the sideline. Okay, well, let's go to the USC game. We get a night game. We do the blackout. It's the day after Halloween. Atmosphere's perfect. The crowd's fired up. The lines are massive. Memorial Stadium is roaring. You have an opportunity to beat USC, get your first ranked win. And how long? Can't get it done. Fall short. There has to be that moment where they break through somewhere. And last year, I think, again, that's why it had a bunch of Husker football fans so disgruntled, was when you look at the opponents you have, it looks like a lot. But then you look at the circumstances around some of those opponents. Again, a no head coach with Michigan when we got to host them at home. You got an interim coach with UCLA. You got interim coach over there when we go play Penn State. You go play an Iowa team who we play close all the time, and you get blown out. They drop 40-plus points on you. Okay, can we pick up our pride versus Utah? No, we get destroyed. Like, those are things where you're trying to get the Husker football fan base fired up, especially when we're putting together a $600 million renovation. And I know I'm being super negative. I want this program to succeed because it's great for Lincoln. It's great for businesses in Lincoln, like obviously ours, but every business in Lincoln does well when Husker football is doing well. It goes for all sports, but Memorial Stadium packs 80,000 people. So you want that place full and you want that place roaring, but people need a little bit of hope and a little bit of evidence that we are heading in the right direction. And sometimes the eye test is a big part of it. And when you're looking at a team beat the brakes off you and their sideline doesn't have their head coach, it's not a good look for Nebraska football. So all that being said, I know there's a lot of negativity. You do look at this upcoming season and you can get glum and say, wow, we have Indiana, Oregon, Illinois, Ohio State, and Iowa. How could we ever have a good year? Or you can just meet the schedule head on and finally make that turnaround. Kurt Cignetti did not start worrying about the tough teams on his schedule. He just coached like he's always coached and led to wins. It's got to be that same mindset for Husker football, regardless of what that schedule looks like. With that being said, we'll throw the break here. We should have Jay Foreman joining us for the rest of Old School. Appreciate everybody chiming in. You're more than welcome to continue to chime in. And before I do so, see if we got a score update. Nope, still 0-0 between Nebraska and South Dakota State. We'll keep you updated on that game as it rolls around, as Nebraska hosting their first regionals since 2008. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling. Old School. Harrison Arens, Jay Foreman, joining us on the other side, 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
What if your bank had people who care about the places we call home?
That's what Union Bank does. We encourage this culture of giving back.
I really enjoy working with People City Mission.
The United Way campaign.
Habitat for Humanity, Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Everyone's in to help make that community stronger. To be part of all of this that's going on is pretty remarkable.
At UBT, your money has people with a passion for serving. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Don't ignore changes in your skin. Get them checked. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection could save your life. If you've noticed a new spot, a changing mole, or anything that doesn't look quite right, now is the time to act, not later. As you head into summer, protect your skin and stay proactive about your health. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're here to support your care with advanced technology and a team you can trust, because catching something early can make all the difference. Advanced Medical Imaging, your partner in proactive health. Does someone in your household avoid phone calls because they can't hear clearly? Or do they have difficulty speaking on the phone? Nebraska offers a solution. The Nebraska Specialized Telecommunications Equipment Program, or NSTEP, provides financial assistance for specialized devices like amplified phones, captioned telephones, smartphones with Bluetooth pairing to hearing aids, and speech-generating devices. If you're a Nebraska resident with a certified hearing or speech disability, you may qualify. It's not income-based, and once approved, you own the equipment. Learn more or apply at psc.nebraska.gov or call 1-800-526-0017.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This summer, Salt Dogs fans are making history at Haymarket Park. We're celebrating 25 seasons of grit, grins, heart, and hometown pride. Lincoln, you built this stadium. You named this team. And season after season, it's you, the fans, that keep us coming back for more. So let our thank you be our promise. The best is yet to come. Your local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC and Chevrolet, and GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Koppel family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Koppel or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long on the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to Old School. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. Still should have Jay Foreman on the way, hoping it didn't get a flat tire en route. But if you're worried about your tires, check out Graham Tire. They can hook you up in case you got fear if your treads are low, especially, with the storms that have been rolling in. Never want to be dealing with hydroplaning. So get your cars checked out. Make sure you got them balanced. Make sure those treads are nice. You can always go to our friends at Graham Tire and check them out for that. Still 0-0 in Nebraska versus South Dakota's regional baseball game. And that one, we did have a texter ask. It is on ESPN Plus. So for those who want to watch this game, you need that ESPN Plus subscription. That is the legal way to go ahead and watch this game. And then later tonight, Arizona State, Ole Miss, that one on ESPN2. You will need the ESPN Plus subscription. That one at 8 p.m. later tonight, pending weather. But the weather, as I was talking off air, the weather should be clearing up. And I think there's a good opportunity for these games to kind of flow through and avoid some of the Big Ten woes that we had during the Big Ten tournament. For all of those who remember, not too long ago, Nebraska baseball finishing up in the Big Ten versus Michigan at 1:30 in the morning with the weather delays. But as I'm looking at it, and I was checking out the radar earlier, it looks like if the Thunder holds off, I'm pretty optimistic that these games should flow right on through, and we shouldn't have a lot of problems for it. So again, ESPN Plus for this game between Nebraska and South Dakota State, ESPN2 to watch Ole Miss and Arizona State later tonight at 8 p.m. Some other scores going on. You got to start feeling for Holy Cross a little bit here. This score is getting a little bit out of control. If I can pull it up here, it might have just wrapped up already. I believe it did. Yes, 19-1. Texas gets their first win in their regionals over Holy Cross, 19-1. Other games that have finished up: 15, Kansas gets a win over Northeastern, 6-3. Number 8, Florida escapes the upset. They were losing to Rider for a little bit. They win the game 8-7. Upset alert: Little Rock gets the win over Southern Miss, 7-4. I believe was a score. Yeah, 7-4. You had Liberty beating Boston College 4-3. Georgia Tech, another monster run kind of game, 22-5 versus UIC. Number 2 Georgia Tech gets their first win in their regionals. Yeah, Kentucky 6-5 win over Wake Forest. And those are all the games that wrapped up. And currently, games still going on. East Carolina up over Tennessee 7-3. You got Milwaukee and Auburn still going at it. It is the top of the 9th inning, 12-7. Auburn still down. And again, if Auburn loses this game and Nebraska baseball can get through their own regional, that puts Nebraska baseball in position to host a super regional. So we'll obviously be keeping close eyes on that score as it carries along. We got Lamar University up 1-0 over Texas A&M, bottom of the second, early in that ball game. Washington State tied with Oregon State 2-2, top of the 6th inning. St. John's versus Florida State just got rolling 0-0. St. Mary's, UCLA, bottom of the 5th, low scoring so far, 1-1. So you do got UCLA, number 1 UCLA, tied up currently in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mississippi State putting on a performance. It's 10-0 versus Lipscomb, top of the 9th inning. USC Upstate still leading Oklahoma State 6-5. And then, as I mentioned, we're still keeping close watch on Milwaukee versus Auburn. MT Westy shouts out, all caps, Milwaukee. Yeah, big Milwaukee fans in Lincoln tonight. We'll be rooting for those guys to continue to try to have a great night of baseball and try to close this thing out versus Auburn. For obvious reasons, that bodes very, very well for us. And with that being said, we do have softball that will be kicking off as well. I can pull up my softball tab. I did have it pulled up, but Nebraska baseball's put themselves in a nice position. Obviously, getting the win yesterday in really, really dramatic fashion. It was late. I want to say that game finished perfectly at 11:30 p.m. And it went into extra innings, of course. Pull up the final score here. Finally got it. There we go. So it was the 5-3 finish, and it went all the way to 10 innings, and it was tense the whole way through. So Arkansas jumped up yesterday 10-0 at the top of the 2nd inning. It wouldn't be until the bottom of the 4th where Nebraska was able to tie it back up. It was 2-2, and then it was scoreless. And then you get to the 8th inning. Here comes Arkansas. They put up a run. Nebraska responds with a run. They go through the 9th inning, no scores. So you're sitting there tied up 3-3, and then it goes into extra innings just for Nebraska to squeak away with a win. And it was a tough one. I'll be honest. That was one game I actually felt for Arkansas. We had Nick Sainert call in for the post-game show, and when you put that much effort into a game and then you know you got to wake up and get right back at it, that's a tough feeling to have out there, especially one that was as tough as that. But in that game, Hannah had 2 runs. Jesse Farrell added in a run. Kuzak had a run. And who else? I believe. There it is. Williams had a run as well. I know we're missing one in there. We had to get to 4 somehow. But again, just a very, very tight game. And Jordy Fromm's just been incredible. It was funny. Rhonda Revelle got asked a question in the media after if there's really any thought of pulling Jordy Fromm to kind of save her arm a little bit. And the answer was no. Like, we're going to keep her out there. USA Today Collegiate Softball Player of the Year. Just an incredible number. And you hear the Shohei Ohtani comparisons to her a lot. And some might say that might be a little bit extreme, but I encourage people, when you seriously go through her numbers and then what she's able to do on the mound and then what she's able to do in the batter's box, there is no one close in college softball that can put up the same pound for pound value that she has on both sides of the field. She's just an incredible stellar run. And then when you pair that with Alexis Jensen, again, this was a big challenge getting through Arkansas, but they've put themselves in a comfortable position to where when you look ahead, you got Alabama, who handled UCLA. When Nebraska played UCLA in the Big Ten tournament, I believe the final score was 7-2. Alabama got a win over UCLA yesterday as well, 6-3. That sets up the game for tomorrow. You have number 1 Alabama versus number 1 Nebraska. And you know what I think we should do is go through Alabama's track record, because Alabama softball has been elite all year. Their final win-loss total, as it sits, is 54-7. And they've just been scorching hot the entire way through. And I think that tomorrow is going to be must-watch TV for even just your casual softball fans. So they started off the year and they wouldn't get their first loss all the way up until we're still going. Wouldn't be until they played ranked Arkansas. March 14th would be the very first loss that Alabama suffered all year. And they would win that series versus Arkansas regardless of dropping one game to them. They won 4-1 in the first game, and they won 4-1 again in the third game. They only dropped that middle game on Saturday, 9-14. But then same thing. They drop a game to Missouri, but win the series. And they drop a game to Texas, but win the series versus a very, very good Texas team. One unique loss to Samford is probably the only thing that really sticks out in their schedule. And then a series loss to Tennessee. But otherwise, they were just off and rolling. And those were the losses. Those were all the losses for what has been an incredible season for Alabama softball. So again, I think for softball fans, that one's going to be must-watch TV. I'm excited to see those two go head-to-head. And I couldn't give you really great odds on who's going to win. I think both teams are super talented. Arkansas was a little bit of a mirror of what Nebraska was. And ironically, when it was 3-3, Nebraska was matched on hits, runs, and errors. It was the Ronald Revelle College. He said they're kind of a mirror image of Nebraska. And that's what we saw. Nebraska was able to squeak through an extra inning at the 10th. But Alabama is going to be a whole unique challenge in of itself. So we'll be keeping eyes on that. And of course, we're having softball, baseball post games for all of these going on. That being said, let me hit refresh before we go to break. I would love to, guys, give you a score update. Say Nebraska baseball is leading, but it's still 0-0. Top of the third inning, still very early in the game as Nebraska, 13 Nebraska, trying to get its first win after hosting their first regional since 2008 versus South Dakota State, who walked in at 24-31. Meanwhile, Nebraska, 42-15. The one thing that gives you hope, and I know I was talking to Terrell Farley about this, is Nebraska baseball's got an incredible home record. They only dropped one game at home at Haymarket Park all season long, and that one loss was to Kansas in a midweek game. And those midweek games seem to be the challenge for Nebraska, but they actually did really well, especially at home. During those, they were undefeated in Big Ten Conference play at home. So Haymarket Park has been a little bit of magic for the Huskers this year. And, I got to talk to Jeter and Jalen Worthley about it. there's been a lot of moments where this team's had its back to the wall, whether it was that Friday night USC game where you're looking up and thinking that USC is going to run through Nebraska after the way that Friday first game was looking. And Nebraska has the monster comeback in late innings to win that game. Of course, there was the Iowa Saturday game where Iowa scored 5 runs in the top of the 8th just for Nebraska to respond with 7 runs in the bottom of the 8th. And there's a ton of examples. We can go through all of them. You can even go to Minnesota on the road. I know it's not Haymarket, but versus Minnesota, 2 games back to back where Nebraska looked like they were choking, quote unquote, just for them to roll and get multiple runs in the 8th and 9th innings to really rip the soul out of Minnesota. So the one thing that's been great about Nebraska is they've been great at home and then been able to get themselves out of some really tough spots. Now, you don't want to be in those tough spots to begin with. When you can find ways to go ahead and back out of it, you'll take those wins when they roll along. With that being said, we'll throw it to break. We'll have one more segment before we get to the top of the hour. Old School, Harrison Arens. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. Showers likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy with an afternoon high around 75. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, a low around 63. And tomorrow, more showers and storms possible. Otherwise, partly sunny and breezy. The high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966. The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions with pay starting at 23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offer great pay, health, dental, and vision, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
This summer, Salt Dogs fans are making history at Haymarket Park. We're celebrating 25 seasons of grit, grins, heart, and hometown pride. Lincoln, you built this stadium. You named this team. And season after season, it's you, the fans, that keep us coming back for more. So let our thank you be our promise. The best is yet to come. Your local tradition plays on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? Short segment. Jay Foreman, Harrison on the ones and twos. Austin is out taking care of some family business. Obviously, it's the day after Nebraska softball represented. Nebraska baseball is waiting to represent, or they're trying to right now.
Stay up for that one? Got a little bit late.
Yeah, I did.
I guess 11:30. It wasn't as bad as the 1:30 game with baseball.
Yeah, I felt like, a little. I mean, obviously, you don't expect Jordy to give up a homer, but people don't really. I mean, obviously, when you're in the vacuum here at Nebraska, you're like, all right, it's, we have a great team, and so you focus on what we've done over the last 2 years, especially. But people don't realize, like, Arkansas, their softball program is legit. They've made it to Super Regionals finals 4 out of the last 6 years. This is their first, obviously, softball College World Series. But they're an established program in a packed or tough SEC, so they weren't going to go down easy. And I think the first game, in my opinion, in any tournament is always the hardest. And when you're the 4 seed, you're playing the 5, you're looking right at another great team. But also, I think Nebraska had enough in the tank, but then also enough, I guess, it factor to win. And they've been able to battle it very easily. If you weren't a very cohesive team, being down 2-0, give up a home run, you could kind of, woe is me. They just kept battling and make some great plays. The third baseman made a huge play. I think they had a runner on first or second, and Arkansas hit something on the rope, and she extended and that was the third out. If not, you probably send her home and you're down 3, nothing at that point, and that changes the dynamics of the game. So they were able to lean on their defense and then obviously keep them at bay and systematically come back and win. So look for them to continue along the process. I think they fit Alabama next.
Yeah, Alabama next. That one.
And they're the number 1 seed, right?
Yep. Yeah. Got a 1v1 matchup in that one. But yeah, Alabama I was looking at, they're like 54 wins and only 4 losses. So, I mean, it's College World Series point at this time. And I was looking at it, some of the stats and why Nebraska softball, such a big deal to get that first one. The odds are crazy that if you lose that first College World Series game, historical stats say you're down to a 10% chance of winning it all. Whereas opposed to it was like 90% of teams who lose that first game don't end up winning. So getting that first game is absolutely massive. And it was kind of funny. I know Ron Revelle talked about it, how Arkansas was like a mirror image of Nebraska.
Yeah.
And you should have paid attention to that because it was the 9th inning. Nebraska had the same amounts of runs, same amount of hits, same amount of errors. Yeah. And it was really kind of just a test of will at that point. And even though, Fromm gave up a homer, I mean, that was, both teams were clearly good enough to go, swing for swing. It was just who was going to give out first. So I really credit just the mental toughness of softball last night because that was really the only separating factor. Again, it was like pound for pound, just a totally equal matchup.
Yeah. And that's the way it's always going to be from here on out. And obviously I think, Jordy, I think she'll be able to kind of like really, really hone in and it's going to, provide Alabama, some problems. They do have some familiarity with her because she was there in the College World Series before, and Alabama obviously had been there quite a few times. But, I think Nebraska, once you get that first one underneath your belt, I don't think they're kind of like the basketball team up until last night, hadn't had a College World Series victory. You get that first one, then you feel like you're playing on house money. So look for them to continue on, and we got to, kind of will the baseball team to get through this first one. Because just like you mentioned in the College World Series for softball, losing that first game in the regional, when you're hosting, losing that first one, it
goes to 15% chances to win it.
Yeah. So you want to get out, but then also you want to have that winning feeling.
Yeah.
And you only can deal with right now, and that's the best thing to try to do. You got to focus on right now, and you got to, will people to step up if you have your number 2 pitcher going against a really good team and see where they're at. So we'll take a quick break, come back, talk a little bit more college football, get a Nebraska baseball update. Get Harrison. We'll dive into a little NBA finals now. We're going to Game 7. Is that what does it mean for the Knicks? Going to be off almost 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to play a battle-tested team, whether it's the Spurs or the Thunder, and they'll both be favorites going against the Knicks. And what we expect in Game 7. So Harrison, Jay Foreman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ever stare at the Hog Wild menu and feel like you just can't make up your mind because it all looks so good? Well, when I want a little bit of everything, I get a little bit of everything on Hog Wild's Smokestack Sandwich. On a butter-toasted bun, we pile on our hickory smoked beef brisket and juicy hot links. The hard part is choosing between fresh curly fries, classic baked beans, or coleslaw on the side. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
The end of the school year is drawing near, which means graduation parties are coming soon. Are you prepared for hosting? Führer's Cheese Spread is the dip that brings everyone together to celebrate graduations and the close to a great school year. And it goes well with crackers, meats, soups, and more. How could you consider throwing a party without it? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's Cheese Spread. No graduation party is complete without it.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Looking for something fun tonight? Axe throwing, local beer, and great vibes are waiting at Arbor Axe House. From casual nights out to celebrations and team events, it all starts here. Reserve a lane today at arboraxe.com. Arbor Axe House at the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
Well, I'm an interior designer. A lot of builders don't have designers on staff. I'm included with our Aspen package and could make your home more custom to your taste, your needs, and your wants.
Rachel's our interior designer at Aspen Builders. She's one of the reasons that makes us really good at what we do. I'm Bob Benish, and we absolutely love how Rachel takes care of our clients.
I think the biggest challenge with building is a lot of clients are worried about all the choices. When they come in, they kind of have a deer in the headlights look. I like to ask people at the end, so what did you think? And usually they pause and they say, you really broke it up, kept it simple. We just did one meeting at a time, so I wasn't looking at all the decisions I had to make. I had plenty of time to decide things. You walked me through it all. It made it simple.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for their members. Whether it's a range session to get accurate club distances, 18 holes with some buddies, or a one-on-one lesson with Back Nine's PGA teaching professional, their top-of-the-line full swing simulators are there to help you lower your score in perfect conditions. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, the premier indoor golf experience.
Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Couple Chevrolet, GMC, and Chevrolet. And GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Couple family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Couple or at CoppleCars.com. All deals with the roof credit. Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, we're back. Jay Foreman, my man Harrison on the ones and twos. Old School, second hour. Waiting for the Huskers to break through. Still 0-0. What is it, the bottom of the third?
Yeah, end of the third just got over.
Yeah.
So heading into the top of the fourth, 0-0, South Dakota State up to bat.
Yeah. And, look, South Dakota State, they're here for a reason. You're going to get their best pitcher. So we're just waiting for Nebraska to get, bats to get hot. So
Do you like them putting out Carson Jassa to start things
I
out?
do. I mean, I do. I think, I know I have some friends whose kids play baseball and club, and one of the things they always complained about is like when the coach would try to save their starter if they, for the championship game, and they ain't get there. So not only did you not win, give yourself a chance to get to the championship game, but you didn't even pitch your best pitcher when you need it. So I think I like it, trying to get out there and get the good mojo going. Get this victory. There's a lot of pressure. Obviously something that Will Boulder's kind of really, really kind of put in the crosshairs for Nebraska to be able to host a regional. They were able to do so this year. And so, you want to put your best pitcher out there that's, been playing or been pitching the most consistent, and you want to get off to, a winning start. And that kind of can allow you to steamroll, hopefully steamroll through the rest of the regional, even though you had to use your best pitcher. Because if it was as easy as just rolling out your number 2 or number 3, number one, it wouldn't be 0-0 at the top of the fourth, let alone South Dakota State wouldn't be here. And look, South Dakota State has at least 1 or 2 pitchers that can pitch. They're not coming down here throwing like a bunch of meatballs. So
got some Omaha natives too,
right?
So it's not like they're unfamiliar with the spot,
right? And they're excited, and this is and it's not far for them to travel, so they got some people down there trying to support them. So we shall see. I mean, I think eventually they'll get it going. This is a team with a lot of grit, and they compete all the way through, any 1 to any 9. So they'll be just fine after they get started. So
wait for the 8th or 9th usually, which is not always a fun spot to be, but it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's start about the the 4th, the bottom of the 4th would be great for me. So one thing I want to talk to you about, Harrison, is Brandon Sorsby. Obviously, he was suspended or is suspended. Appealed, lost the appeal.
Quickly, sorry, before we get into that, breaking news: Milwaukee gets the win over Auburn. 13-8. That game just wrapped up. So again, why that one's important: if Auburn loses another time, they're out of regionals, and if Nebraska gets through regionals, that gives us the super. But we still got plenty of games ahead to see if that works out.
You got a lot of work to do before you can think about that. But it's obviously, number one, you're playing that game. Number two, Nebraska is going to end up winning this game, hopefully. And then once they, get to relax and watch another game, have that in the back of your mind, knowing, and it's not for, Auburn's sake, it's for your own sake, knowing, show up every day at the ballpark ready to play and play, you know what I'm saying, with the right mental focus.
Well, and that's, again, that's why I like rolling out there with Carson Jassa, because you go look through these scores. And we saw it with softball too. They saw South Dakota Coyotes, and they weren't going to play with their food. They put out a statement. But there's been some significant upsets. You have USC Upstate leading Oklahoma State 8-5. Number 1 UCLA is tied up in the top of the 7th inning to St. Mary's. You have Lamar University up 3-0 over Texas A&M. And there's another big one that I think wrapped up earlier. I mean, all this to say, upsets are to be had. So you never want to go in there not respecting the opponent just because their win-loss record might not be as pretty as yours, because it happens every single year. We'll go through regionals, and you're seeing some of these teams who you think have no business losing ended up with a loss in their first regional game.
Yeah, I mean, look, one thing the portal does or has done in every sport is created a little bit more of parity. That means you're going to have more depth of players. You're going to have players at South Dakota State. You're going to have Milwaukee. Everywhere that they're going to be able to have at least 1 or 2 guys that can play at that level that you're playing if you're a bigger school. So the days of just, rolling out of the bed and kind of sleepwalking through like a, 6-1 victory, and then next thing you know, you just kind of breeze your way through the regional are over. And then we've seen it last year. You see it right now. I mean, to the point a team like that's been a stalwart in Omaha and LSU is not even in a factor right now. It used to be rinse and repeat with LSU. So, Nebraska's got a lot of work to do, but it's obviously setting up well for them. But they got to handle their business before they can worry about other people's business. So, what I was saying before, one thing that I wanted to talk about is Brandon Sorsby. It's a big story because it connects the college football game, high school to college to the pros. It's all connected, through his situation. It's a learning tool or situation for high school kids. I know high school kids bet, they just do probably prop bets or whatever their apps are or whatever at this age. I know for a fact I had basketball players you hear them, and when you're at a tournament talking about, you got one kid, betting on the Masters, and I was like, you don't know anything about golf, but they're willing to just look at the odds and throw $5 or $10 at it.
I can find middle school tables.
Right. Yeah, probably
putting parlays together.
Yeah, little kid. Yeah, it's a way of life now. I mean, it's on the college campuses, and so you have to be very smart and educated as a student athlete to understand the risks that come with it. When you look at Brandon Sorsby, we saw him the first game last year. You knew he was really good. $5 million contract to go down to Texas Tech is now down the drain. Now he's looking at possibly trying to get in the supplemental draft if he's not reinstated by the NCAA. Now, they denied his request to be reinstated on Tuesday. Texas Tech filed an appeal on Friday, which is this morning, and chances of winning that are probably slim and none. Now, do I think he should be suspended the whole year? Probably not. Now, what he did was flat out stupid. Yes, it was 4 years ago, and I think that it's not even a statute of limitations. I would probably suspend him the first 4 games. You could maybe even do him 6 games, or something like that, to really set forth a statement. But with gambling on and connected to college sports, it's very hard to really get after somebody, even though I think the worst thing he did, and this is where I want your opinion, he placed over 40 bets involving Indiana football as a quarterback when he was a backup in redshirt, and it's over $90,000. He's bet over $90,000 over 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he bet on any games he played in.
No, he didn't play at all.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was just he's just a student that actually gets to practice. I'm sure he bet on Indiana win and probably some prop bets. Like, in your mind as a young fan, do you think it's right for him to be suspended? That's the easy thing to do for him, or do you think it's a little bit harsh, or do you think he should suspend it for like a number of games?
I'm not as lenient on this. Like, you're banned. Like, you're just that whole season, at least this season. I don't think you should be able to play, even if it's 4 years ago. The problem I have with it is like the way college sports has embraced gambling. If we weren't in the era where we're promoting DraftKings and whatever it may be on every commercial break in between games, and then we have the post game show sponsored by gambling sites. That's what makes it feel gross about giving him a suspension, because the way these broadcasts promote it so much. But I think if you want to curb this stuff like that it should never be acceptable. I don't care if you're playing or not, to be betting on college sports, because even if it's prop bets and he's not playing, he's got a good idea on who's going to get a lot of touches based on the game plan, based on what he saw in practice. So I'm not as lenient on it. Like, for me, you're just the whole season, even if you're able to play
from 4 years ago.
Yeah. You have to set the standard. You cannot gamble on the sports you're a part of.
But
these are the consequences.
But you can. He's suspended for gambling on his team.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
And no matter what.
Right.
I think you have to be firm with it. I think the biggest problem with college sports is we've gotten too loose with everything.
Yeah.
And like, we kind of hand penalties down, but Michigan's a big money school, so we'll let them keep their national championship. You get the weird politics in it.
Yeah.
And we don't really know what the standards are, but I think if we want to get back to a healthy form of college football, you have a case where a guy bet on his own team. I'm sorry that, it became a problem and maybe it was an addiction, but you have to set a standard somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not always fair, but I think if you want to get rid of it totally, you have to go over the line a little bit with these punishments.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he could be the poster child for what not to do. And I mean, obviously it's a thing that where they're going to, sometimes they're going to make an example out of you, just like they make an example out of guys as a positive, right? They use these stories to really prop either a school or a situation up for the benefit of the NCAA or that university. For him, he's trying to go through the right channels to handle his addiction. Now, whether, that's part of the play to probably trying to be reinstated or not, but obviously you have a problem where, the common sense factor, you probably know you shouldn't. I know they have life skills to where about gambling, probably telling you not to gamble. Now, for him, it's a little bit harder. I think it might have been during or right around at the end of COVID. So you don't know what the exposure to what not to do and what to do. I guess you could say that he just didn't know. I just think that he's been to two other, or would have been at two other schools. It was known when he was at Cincinnati.
Mhm.
Cincinnati knew. Then all of a sudden now it's out on national media after Cincinnati's upset that he left to go to Texas Tech.
Yep.
I mean, I just think it's dirty business. It was okay for when he played, because this happened when they played us.
Yeah.
Right. So if we just say for a fact, and you know what's also, I mean, I don't want to be devil's advocate, but I look at it like this. Everybody knows that if you want to go back to the Cincinnati game, right? The way that I don't know if he had the ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage. That first half was horrible offense by an offensive head coach. That last pass that Malcolm Hartzog picked off, every quarterback from 6th grade all the way up to the professional knows that ball is supposed to be high and outside.
Mm-hmm.
That ball was lofted essentially down the middle of the field. Now with this coming into it, and I don't know what the whatever the bets were or whatever he was doing, you just wonder if somebody was in his ear. Now that's harsh to come down on him like that when I'm saying it should only be 4 games, but when you bet this much on your team and on football, I mean, he was betting stuff like overseas, like cricket and stuff like that.
It'd be a basketball game, at 1 a.m., but it's, nighttime over in Asia or whatever.
Right.
Let me bet on the Sharks.
Right. Betting on the Sharks and cricket and
Let's
stuff
go
like
Shanghai.
that. So you just wonder, just now, and he was probably getting paid some good NIL last year at Cincinnati. What were you doing, and what possibly could have been a factor in the way that game ended? Because he turned it up where he was pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you got down there in money time to win the game, and the ball looked like a punt into the wind, and there was no wind that night.
No.
And so for him, it's going to be, trying to get into the NFL somehow, some way. The one thing that he has to understand is that you're going to be lucky to be drafted in the supplemental draft. Somebody will pick you up, and you're going to have to work your way up. And sure, the NFL lets a lot of things slide. And look, this is something that I would probably say on the low end with a lot of the, these guys coming in with some issues. This is not a big time deal. But those DraftKings and all that, there's a big investment into the NFL, and the NFL's invested. It is a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot, it's going to be hard for him to get into the NFL right away, or especially drafted, until he is trusted not to, if he's playing, or sell information, because we just seen that in the NBA, right? Be influencing the betting. And so that's where he's in a lot of trouble. 1, you lose all the money this year. 2, an embarrassment. Number 3, you have a gambling issue. Number 4, he would have probably got drafted last year. He would have made a lot of money this year. Now you're thinking, can you get to Canada to rehab your image? And what are you doing on a consistent basis as an addict to bet, to curtail it or to handle it? And he's going to have to live the rest of his life doing it. I mean, imagine for him being down at Texas Tech, even though it's the middle of nowhere in Lubbock, have the world by your hands, getting paid a huge amount of money per month, and one article comes out, and now you're looking at never playing football again, or you're never playing college football again, for sure, or unless there's a miracle happens.
Yeah, and that's what I feel for him. Like, I really, and that's why I said it feels a little bit gross, wanting to give such a severe punishment, because again, I think the way that we market gambling is just crazy in today's era. When you consider the punishments for it, or if you gamble on your own team, like we're pushing a lot of young men into gambling.
Oh, it's confusing, because remember the Denver Broncos? There was in Detroit Lions, you could gamble literally in the production room.
Yes.
But if you just took one step out, then it's now you're suspended. Well, what if the Wi-Fi didn't work?
Yeah.
You say, just think, if you thought you push, I don't know if you push send or whatever, I'm not a game. We push send, and then I have my bet. I walk out, I go to practice.
It's still buffering. And then you walk out.
And then now you're suspended for 3 games.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be in your facility. So I think the whole gambling and when you can do it and how you can do it, I think is very confusing
I had my world, you take it out of collegiate sports. It should have never been allowed.
Right.
And I'm like very anti-gambling. Like, I don't care if people gamble. I just think the way that we push it on the youth, and especially when these guys have NIL money, I mean, this just sounds like a horrible idea. When we're promoting it and then we're handing these guys hundreds of thousands of dollars and everything they see, even on their sports podcast.
Yeah.
Every sports podcast got DraftKings,
Yeah.
you know, and not saying it's those companies' fault, but I think the NCAA and these conferences should have some better morals when it comes to this is how we're going to handle the gambling. We're not saying that you can't do it, but there are very strict rules, and we're more in favor of keeping it. Like, I would love if the University of Nebraska just had its own statement of, hey, I know you're allowed to gamble on collegiate sports, but here at the University of Nebraska, we do not allow it, period. You know, obviously if it's your own team, but any team.
Yeah.
We're not allowing it. Now, that's going to hurt you recruiting, but I just think we've gotten into such a dangerous territory where Brandon gets tons of money, and we're also in an era that's pushing gambling down everyone's throats.
Yeah, and it's down at the high school and middle school level. So I think it's something that's going to have to be education. I think your life skills department is going to have more than just people that are academia people. You know what I mean? I think if you're really trying to do what's best for your student athletes, you have to have the academia people that, you know, went to, you know, Southeast Community College and has, you know, certificates on gambling and life skills and all that. But you better get people that have been professional athletes or been at the height of their sport in and around your program. Because you can read, because the reason why it's important, because you're a part of the locker room, you will be able to read players and their actions and know before something like this happens.
Well, and that's what really worries me is, like we mentioned it, go walk into a high school today. I encourage anybody, go to the lunch table and hear all those kids talking about props, gambling.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of those kids are going to be college football players or college basketball players. Or they're going to go play Division I sports, Division II, whatever it may be. Like, you can look at the numbers. Gambling is skyrocketing in terms of its popularity with the younger generation. And those guys will a lot of those guys will be playing Division I football or other Division I sports. That's going to be a thing that, again, you're going to have to be very careful about having gambling and collegiate sports tied together through money and networks when that's the generation that's walking in through your doors. And then we have unknown texter 2280 said it's also not just about the bets we heard about. His integrity is now in question. How many prop bets did he as a player not hit so his buddies could win? And that's certainly part of it. And then there's also, you know, if you can't bet on Indiana games, what's stopping me from talking to my buddies at Miami and saying, hey, what's it look like? Who's starting? Who's had a good week? Like, there's so many ways you can get insider information.
Or talking to your friends and they're asking.
Yeah.
You know, because he's not playing. So he's on the scout team. And he's probably like, oh, yeah, man, we're probably going to get blown out by Ohio State, you know, by 30. And then they bet it. Update here for Husker baseball. They're up 2-0.
Nice.
Bottom of the fourth, 2 outs, a runner on third, 2 outs and a runner on third. I think they either have a pitching change because Jeter Worthley is up, or Madison's still pitching. Jeter Worthley is up. 0 balls, 1 strike. So hopefully he can get another run in there and then see what we can get. So he's down now with 2 strikes now. So now he's got to really choke down on that bat and try to get it in play and hopefully drive in another run. But yeah, I mean, the gambling it's been around forever. Now I just think it's on a bigger stage. It's in your face. And it started out just with, what fantasy football and stuff like that. You remember the NFL wouldn't let Aaron Rodgers go to Vegas for fantasy football.
Yeah.
I think DraftKings to do an appearance. Now they have gambling places for players inside their stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up casino up in Detroit.
You got your own sports book
Right.
in a lot of these stadiums.
Right. Yeah. So it's a big issue, and Brandon Sorsby is going to, obviously be at the forefront. He's going to have to really find a way. He's going to have to really be strategic, both, obviously mentally and emotionally, how he's going to, work through this and become a better person and an advocate for it. Look, you have to talk to your kids now about betting. You have to talk to them about it. If you just say, hey,
especially if they have a smartphone.
Well, everybody does.
Exactly.
You got little kids in 4th grade with them.
Well, and that's where gambling's really taken off, is the ability to bet anywhere, anytime.
Right.
And again, like, that's why I'm just big anti-gambling. I don't think they have people's best interest at heart. And you're just pushing all this stuff, and it's, again, you can just go look at the numbers. It's a very, especially when money's tight. Like, I think a lot of these kids, quick fix, make some bets, make some money, and then, if they keep on to that habit, even if they have the money,
you keep chasing that rabbit that you're not going to catch, and then you can be down that dark hole.
And I lose all my money every time I go to a casino, so that's why I've avoided the problem. But if I ever caught that big win, that's how it happens for a lot of these kids, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that gamble a lot, if you're not a professional, I think if you have a good night, you know, it automatically you forgot to add up all the ones that you lost. $100 here, $200 here, $50, and you're probably barely even, or you're obviously in the red. So Nebraska only got 2 runs in that 4th inning, but they're up 2-0. It's about to be the top of the 5th. We're going to take a quick break. I want you to think about this, Harrison, as a young, obviously fan and an adult, and as far as like betting, and what do you think the biggest thing could happen or should happen in order to help it? Should it be the pros maybe making a stand, or do you have to really, really open up the doors of education, because the college is in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop it at the top or at the bottom. We'll take a quick break. Think on that, and we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
This is Jordy Ball for Anderson Ford. For years, Anderson has relied on an exceptional customer experience. But just this once, they're going to rely on a really great pitch.
Right now, lease a 2026 Ford F-150 for $199 per month for 36 months.
Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1008721. Previous service loaner. $199 per month. Lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 10650 to assigning. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees expert. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 7/6/26.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your wake and forecast for today. Showers likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy with an afternoon high around 75. Tonight, a chance for showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, a low around 63. And tomorrow, more showers and storms possible. Otherwise, probably sunny and breezy. The high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions with pay starting at 23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offer great pay, health, dental, and vision, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends. Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for their members. Whether it's a range session to get accurate club distances, 18 holes with some buddies, or a one-on-one lesson with Back Nine's PGA teaching professional, their top-of-the-line full swing simulators are there to help you lower your score in perfect conditions. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, the premier indoor golf experience.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket. Every Saturday morning now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
What up, Jay Foreman? Harrison on the ones and twos. Update: Nebraska has one out, top of the fifth. Runner, South Dakota Jackrabbit has a runner on first with one out. Nebraska still holding on to a 2-0 lead. So keep the fingers crossed, keep them representing. But wanted to ask you, Harrison, what do you think the solution is? Do you think you need to start it with the kids in the youth and educate them, or do you need the NFL to make a statement against gambling on your own team?
I mean, the extreme case, I think the only way this ever stops is like the federal court. We go back to old school. You can't gamble unless you're on site.
Oh yeah. Oh, like
seriously, I think that's the only way you fix it.
Yeah. Take the convenience out of it.
Take the convenience out of it. You can only gamble if you're on site.
Yeah.
Because then guys can't be, sharing each other bets. I mean, if people have to actively go to the casino to place the bet, it's just a lot less likely to happen.
Right.
And I think the convenience of everything has ruined. All these kids have smartphones. Like, parents aren't always aware of what they're doing. It's very easy to get on gambling sites underage and develop that habit. And then, of course, they go on to college sports and DraftKings, all that stuff's pushed to them. But yeah, I think that's how you really stop it. If you want to mitigate it, it's got to start at high school. I think these coaches got to be aware of these players, especially if he's got some guys that are really promising athletes. Like, he's got to make sure that they have that conversation. They understand the serious risk, and have the Sorsby example in your back pocket. I mean, like, look at where this guy was at,
right?
And look at how fast that just absolutely unraveled for bets that he did as a backup quarterback when he didn't even play.
Yeah, when he was a redshirt, which is the worst. I mean, he's bored and too much time on his hands. I wanted to ask you, obviously I want to ask the text line. When you go to sporting events, so that's Nebraska football, baseball, basketball, I'm not sure if there's like prop bets or anything like that with volleyball. But this main sport, and this could be professional as well. Do you go as a fan and want your team to win? So Nebraska or the Chiefs or the Bears in your case or something like that. Or do you go and or watch for your bets first? That's parlays. That's, is Harrison going to throw for 150 yards in the first half and all
Right.
that stuff? Because I think the few times that I've sat in stands, there's guys, I mean, the majority of the fans around you are checking their phone to see where they're at for the bets that, or even at Nebraska basketball game.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, my least favorite people to sit by in games. I can't. No, I'm gonna watch my team. I'm not there to check my parlays and gambling. And if you want to do that, like that's fine if you do it responsibly. But I'm in a fantasy football league every single year. I only do one for one reason. I don't want to be looking at games thinking about how my fantasy football roster is looking in this one. I just want to enjoy the game. I'm a sports fan because I watched the Bears in 06 when I was a little kid. I'm not a Bears fan because they had a parlay out for the Bears to win the Super Bowl, and Devin Hester returned the first touchdown, the first kickoff for a touchdown. I'm just, I don't know, you call it organic fan? No, I don't ever watch games. I think that just ruins the fun. If I'm watching a game, like trying to count numbers and stats, I'm missing the entire point.
Right. And you know what? The gambling sites, the apps in Vegas, those guys are really, really good. So it's not set up for you to be successful, right? Because a lot of people wouldn't be working, they'd be gambling. I just, just really wondered about that because, when you hear and you see sometimes where fans have interaction with players and they're more mad at the player for not hitting their parlay or points per game or whatever the bet is, then whether their team wins or loses or not is obviously an interesting dynamic because, we're blessed enough to have really good fans that continue to come, support football and all our sports. Obviously, we see it down there, baseball as well. But for the majority of America, whether it's college or professional, fans are showing up with their bets in mind.
Mm-hmm.
The fans are watching it with their bets in mind, and their reaction to the players or the play on the field is more based on betting. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer to horse racing.
Right. I've heard people talk about Nebraska football, and you can tell where your emotion, like this cannot upset you this much unless
you got money.
You got money
Online.
on them, and they haven't, didn't cover. And I will tell you, one of the funniest interactions I had with a Nebraska fan was I was already in the NFL, and I was traveling. I'll never forget this. I was traveling through Chicago Airport. O'Hare, because that's the big one, right? I was traveling and I had a long walk through to the gate, and then when I got to the gate, the plane was delayed for an hour. So I was like, "Oh man, I'll just go, grab a burger and a beer, just waste time and watch TV." Well, I had like a Nebraska. I don't know if I had a Nebraska jacket or something like that, or maybe this backpack on, or a backpack, because I was probably only in like year one or year two in the NFL, so I still had like my
Nebraska gear and stuff.
Nebraska gear, like a backpack. And so the gentleman was like, "Hey man, you went to Nebraska?" and started talking to me about, I was like, "Yeah, I went." And he's like, "What'd you do at Nebraska?" Then I was like, "Oh, I played a little bit." And he's like, "Were you on any of the teams?" And I was like, "Yeah, just kind of trying to keep it real low key." And as we talked, he's like, "Man, I was like, "You a Nebraska fan?" And he was like, "No, I'm not a Nebraska fan." He's like, "I'm actually a Notre Dame fan." But then I was like, "Well, how do you know so much about Nebraska?" Because he was talking about, win streaks and the Florida game, Tennessee game. He was like, "Oh," he's like, "I'm not a Nebraska fan." He's like, "I'm a fan of how you guys play." And he was like, for 6 years straight he's like, "You guys covered every single time."
So he's the fan of you guys covered.
Right. That's what he said. He's like, "You guys were the best." He's like, Coach Osborne. He's like, "You guys always covered." And I was like, "Cover what?" He's like, "Cover the bets. You guys always won by however much you were supposed to." And I didn't know this dude from Adam.
But he loved you for covering the spread every
He's
time.
like, "Thanks, man. Made a lot of money."
I mean,
It's there.
like I said, I don't not like those people. It's just a different breed. Like I I hate Notre Dame, no matter how many times they covered the spread.
I look at it like to go to a, like in my case, to go to like a Vikings game, a or Nebraska game, a Timberwolves game, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Like just to go and if you have to bring a family of 4 or 5 or whatever,
especially in 26.
Yeah,
those ticket prices.
Right. So, that's $500 or $600 before you even buy a hot dog.
Yeah, and that hot dog is going to be $12.
Right, and drinks and all that, and if it's hot, or whatever, and then you're rolling up there with about $300 or $400 worth of bets based on a situation you have no control over.
Yep.
And it's even worse in college because they're paid like professionals. They don't perform all the time like professionals. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you remember Ryan Williams from Alabama when he made those catches against Georgia?
Yeah.
You would have thought that he was the next coming of Jeremiah Smith. It was him and Jeremiah Smith.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't heard tiddly poo out of Ryan Williams for the last 2 years or last year or so. Last year, he's a non-factor. Matter of fact, the guy that was a backup to him his freshman year just got drafted by Pittsburgh. And he was consistent. But where Ryan Williams, I remember watching. I was like, man, let me just watch this dude, see where he's at. Yeah, 1 catch, 2 catches. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting. Big Bank Hank says 2013, he said he took K-State and Bama every week. Huge year.
Yeah, I mean, for some people.
Who was at K-State then, Big Bank Hank?
2013.
Was that Bill Schneider the last run, or was that Ron Prince and Josh Freeman? Bama was definitely Nick Saban, right?
Yeah.
That's when they were just like,
it was Bill Snyder.
It was Bill Snyder. It was his second go round. Because remember he retired and came back.
It might have been his second go around.
I wonder why he picked Kansas State. Were they that good on offense?
Just could be familiarity. I remember they were decent.
Yeah.
I
mean, they're always good under Bill Snyder. I just wonder why you would pick Kansas State out of all of them. I know why you picked Bama.
Well, yeah, that one makes total sense. But I mean, that's what always cracks me up too. Is like with some of these, like, yes, the odds are they're going to cover every single time. But then sometimes you'll see those lines. It'll be like Notre Dame versus Northern Illinois. And some people will still put like $100,000 on Notre Dame to win, $10,000.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or not even. It'll be like $1,000 just for Northern Illinois to win. So the spreads they put out there are absolutely insane. Oh, and his parents went to K-State. So that
there
is
you go.
big.
Yeah, so that's emotional.
Hank.
That's emotional, like, attachment.
Yeah, so
family
that's
business.
Fair. Family, yeah, we're gonna chalk that up as family business.
And he knew
tax write-off.
And he believed in Kansas State because he saw a lot of games.
Yeah, so that's fair. And like I said, I don't have problems with people gambling. I have problems with how gambling is pushed on to those
who don't know what they're doing. Yeah,
because we have unknown texters saying, law says you can't gamble until you're 21. Start enforcing that. Well, the gambling companies, they're marketing to young kids as well, not telling them to gamble, but trying to get them ready to gamble when they come of age. And also, like, middle schoolers have cryptocurrency. Like, they're smart. They know how to work around these things. And if you can have cryptocurrency, whether it be Bovada or any of these like off second, third party betting services, they're not asking you for an ID. They're saying, are you 18? Are you 21?
Yeah, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Welcome to the site. How much do you want to spend, young man? Like,
yeah,
kids are smart. They can get through it.
Debit card and all that type of stuff too.
Yeah, well, it's not even debit card. Like, it's crypto. Like, these kids just know how to get crypto wallets, and then you can crypto wallets untraceable. So there's your lesson, Sourceby. Go crypto. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do it. But kids are gonna find a way. Is my point.
No, I'm telling you, man. I'll never forget, man. I was down in Dallas. It was like 10 kids, and we just. I think we played a game, got lunch or whatever. We're going back to the hotel to rest before we had a game that night, and they were just like. And they were just on their phone, like, yo, I'm gonna do a parlay. And one was Tiger Woods making the cut in the Masters.
Mm.
And the other one was something else. And I just like, yo, you gambling? He was like, yeah. Some people really get into it and really study it and try to do the number stuff. And look, everybody likes convenience. The biggest thing is they like it easy. They think they hear the story of somebody putting $5 down and winning, $50,000. They figured, like, you know what, I can do it. I can do it if he can do it.
You know how many parlays I've seen that are so close?
All of them.
All of them.
That's why they never hit the big
exactly.
The crazy ones.
Like, my brothers, I love you, Houston, Everett. Don't send me another parlay. in the group chat. I don't care. Like, you can gamble. I just don't care for it. Like the whole parlay conversations and all that gambling talk is, there's a place for it, but we've hit such a, just an ad nauseum of it. Like I just get so tired of kind of hearing it now. And again, I just don't think it's super healthy. It's the way we're heading with it.
And it's no different if people are at a young age go and play, I guess, blackjack or poker. It's no different. It's addictive because, I remember when I first moved to Minnesota, a kid that I went to, at that time I was into middle school, high school. We'd go to basketball practice. I'd pick him up or I'd be over there. And, like on the weekends or sometimes we'd be over there, shooting hoops. And, their family would, play like poker.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sit there and watch, and I was never even watched enough to really, pay attention. Well, I'll never forget when he turned 18, we had Mystic Lake out, close, and he changed his schedule so he could go out to Mystic Lake. But it became a problem.
I was going to ask, did it work out for him?
No. Eventually it became a problem. And he had to, he lost his, kind of like his first family because he gambled away all the money and stuff.
It's a real addiction. That's what scares me about it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that can do it totally healthy. And I'm cool with those people, but I think we overlook like how destructive of an addiction and how common it is.
Yeah.
And like in your case, you saw it firsthand. Luckily, I haven't had anybody in my life to see it. But
he's better now, and I think he learned his lesson. But yeah, it's
rough.
Yeah.
Like getting a whole, like when you're in debt and you've got a gambling addiction, what's the first thing you're going to do to try to get out of that debt?
Try to hit a big one.
Win big. Yeah. I mean, it's just a self-fueling problem at that point, unless you get outside help.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's tough. I mean, I never want to judge anybody, but I was fortunate enough, never really grew up around it, never thought it was important. So it's not something I choose to participate in just because I don't know enough about it.
Don wants to know, so when are we going to get a ticket poker tournament for swag and hanging out?
A ticket poker tournament. You got to talk to Jake Sorensen about that.
We can do some trading cards for chips.
Now, I will tell you this, though. When we were down in Vegas for a Big Ten Media Day, I took Jake Sorensen around and showed him how to do Steve Stevens' money management style of gambling.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nick Sainer. I showed him how to do it.
I feel like Nick would concern me the most in the casino.
And that's a great observation. That's a phenomenal observation there, Harrison.
It's a character check right there.
Listen, because
Jake seems wily though. I feel like he'd lose like $10 and be like, "Oh, I flustered."
Yeah,
I suck.
But he didn't believe in it.
I
play 3-card poker, so you kind of like talk to the dealer. They tell you what to do,
mm-hmm.
and it's there. It's not any. You can't really mess up anybody else's money. But once you start winning, put your, as long as you break even, then everything else is like after that. Then you put the other in the other pocket, and then if you lose the last little bit, you just go on to the next place.
That's a good method.
Yeah, a little discipline.
How the boys turn out?
It turned out great for me.
What about the other two?
Not so much. Not so much. They couldn't believe it because they don't have any patience.
Yeah, it takes patience.
They don't have any patience, and you got to have a game plan. And plus, look, it's all luck anyway. So, anyways, we'll take a quick break. Come back. We'll talk a little Husker football. They got big month coming up. Camps, official visits. They're back in town. Going to get their OTAs on. And so this is the most pivotal time for 2026 season, and the 2027-28 recruiting classes, because you're getting a lot of guys in and around Lincoln that are going to hopefully commit either during their visit or shortly thereafter or during the season. So Jay Foreman, Harrison, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for their members. Whether it's a range session to get accurate club distances, 18 holes with some buddies, or a one-on-one lesson with Back Nine's PGA teaching professional, their top-of-the-line full swing simulators are there to help you lower your score in perfect conditions. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, the premier indoor golf experience. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Looking for something fun tonight? Axe throwing, local beer, and great vibes are waiting at Arbor Axe House. From casual nights out to celebrations and team events, it all starts here. Reserve a lane today at arbораxe.com. Arbor Axe House at the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
Does someone in your household avoid phone calls because they can't hear clearly? Or do they have difficulty speaking on the phone? Nebraska offers a solution. The Nebraska Specialized Telecommunications Equipment Program, or NSTEP, provides financial assistance for specialized devices like amplified phones, captioned telephones, smartphones with Bluetooth pairing to hearing aids, and speech-generating devices. If you're a Nebraska resident with a certified hearing or speech disability, you may qualify. It's not income-based, and once approved, you own the equipment. Learn more or apply at psc.nebraska.gov or call 1-800-526-0017.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Couple Chevrolet, GMC, and Chevrolet. And GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Koppel family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Koppel or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts. Pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher, and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
When Nebraska businesses win, we all win. And the Nebraska Chamber is helping make that happen. Tackling the tough stuff like job creation, affordable and accessible childcare, and building a stronger workforce. We're stepping up so local businesses can step forward. If you want to see Nebraska keep growing, keep competing, and keep winning, get connected with the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Learn more at nechamber.com.
We have 2 boys, so we needed more space. We lived in a townhouse, so we decided to build.
Casey Bowman and her husband Joe built their first home with us. This is Bob Benish of Aspen Builders. Working with the Bowmans was fantastic.
After the first meeting, we really liked them as people.
I was really skeptical about the whole building process, more so than Joe was. But they explained everything before it happened. If there were problems or issues along the way, they called and explained everything. They just really helped ease my mind.
They were really good about giving us options as far as what fit in the budget, what didn't fit in the budget. They have a designer, Rachel.
She was amazing. She was very helpful in making sure that our house turned out good. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the lot. I wouldn't change colors. I love everything about it. Everything. It's perfect for us.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
How would you like to be a part of the team bringing Lincoln's real sports talk to the city, the state, and beyond? 93.7 The Ticket is looking for experienced producers to help share the stories that matter. From Husker athletics to high school sports, national news to small college stories, you can be a part of informing and entertaining the greatest fans in radio. Apply today at theticketfm.com or bring your resume by our studio located at 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Harrison. Quick segment here before we get to the 5 o'clock hour. We'll dive a little bit more into Nebraska football, what they're doing, what they could be doing, what to expect, so forth and so on. We have a baseball update. I think they're top of the 6th or bottom of the 6th.
They're heading into the top of the 7th inning right now. Bottom of 6 just ended. Still 2-0. Nebraska Huskers leading it over South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's good news. Obviously, you want to get it to where you can kind of push through. Doesn't have to look pretty. It's all about just getting that W. Just one run more than your opponent.
And the weather's looking good. So for those who are sticking around to watch Arizona State and Ole Miss after, I think it's going to hold out. I know there's a little bit of concern. We actually had some of the Arizona State Sun Devils in here earlier at the ticket hanging out, waiting for their game. And that was the top of their concern. I think they saw the woes of the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
And then they were looking at the rain here and they're like, oh, no. Where are we for regionals? We're having it now, but it looks good.
It's a little different climate than Tempe for them. So and the weather this morning probably made them think that they weren't going to play tonight. But
humidity is probably a problem for some of those teams. Well, no, they've traveled so much at this point. That's
and
not going to be a
bad
problem
today, and it'd probably it'd be blown out by the night. So not too thick. In another month or two, they would probably be.
That corn sweat will kill, man.
Corn sweat will kill them.
Strangle, man.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break. Come back. Give our thoughts on Nebraska football 2026, 2027 recruiting classes, and 2028 is on tap because a lot of these young men are coming in to see what's happening here in Lincoln. So Jay Foreman, Harrison, we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. Showers likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy with an afternoon high around 75. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, a low around 63. And tomorrow, more showers and storms possible. Otherwise, probably sunny and breezy. The high near 81. I'm meteorologist Kyle Plucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're looking for a workplace that feels like home, Midwest Bank might just be the place. We're hiring a personal banker in Lincoln who enjoys helping others and being a part of a close-knit team. With great perks and a community-focused mission, you'll feel right at home here. Porque aquí todos son bienvenidos. Apply today at Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer. Member FDIC.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts. Pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
When Nebraska businesses win, we all win. And the Nebraska Chamber is helping make that happen. Tackling the tough stuff like job creation, affordable and accessible childcare, and building a stronger workforce. We're stepping up so local businesses can step forward. If you want to see Nebraska keep growing, keep competing, and keep winning, get connected with the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Learn more at nechamber.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long on the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
3, 2, 1. The drop is live. Screens freeze everywhere, except yours. You've been training for this moment. And with Allo Fiber's zero-lag precision, you strike first. No lag, no limits, just speed. Can your internet provider do that? Stay ahead of every drop. Visit allofiber.com/all-in.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time. And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Hour 3? Jay Foreman, Harrison on the ones and twos. We're old school. We are brought to you by Graham Tire. Been serving the Midwest for 75 years. 4 locations here in Lincoln. Look them up, GrahamTireOfLincoln.com. Tell them Jay Foreman, Harrison, or Austin sent you, and they will take care of you just like they took care of us, me and Austin, for sure. Great service and great people. Nebraska, a little bit of an update. Nebraska baseball is up 2-0, top of the 7th. Jay-Sean Unger is in 3-2 count with 1 out and a runner on first and second. So he has to represent. He's in a little bit of a pickle, and it looks like North or South Dakota State might score 1 run. He's thrown out at home. Yes, he's thrown out. Hey, and a hard punch out by the ump. Hard punch out. Number 30 was carrying a piano on his back as he turned third base. He did not have second gear. Good throw home by the left fielder right there. That was big time.
Well, we're going to help your pitcher out.
Yeah.
That's how you get out of a pinch.
Yeah. Talking about getting out of a pinch. Nebraska football obviously went 7-6 last year. Spring ball was quick and early. Schedule looks daunting. The 2027 class that's led by Trey Taylor is on the uptick. You just got, I think, 3 commits from the 3 offensive linemen, highly ranked.
Jeep Wade's been working.
Jeep Wade's been working.
Also, Trey Taylor's doing well in the Elite 11. One of the favorites to win.
Yeah, him and Braylon Warren, Steve Warren's son from Omaha West Side. That's a Missouri commit. So 2 kids are either in Nebraska, or at least one's in Nebraska, or well, both of them are in Nebraska. They're going to play against each other in high school this year, with Trey Taylor going to Millard South. Are both in the Elite 11. Who would have thought, right? And it's a good problem to have. 2 great quarterbacks to look forward to following their future, obviously, with Trey Taylor here up close and personal, and obviously Braylon, who I know very, very well through his dad.
It's kind of crazy. We got Daniel Kalen, Elite 11, and Trey, because Daniel Kalen's one of those guys who did really well. Yeah. I think he finished top 3, I want to say. And then, now we have Trey Taylor. You look at the quarterback room, if these guys develop, that room alone, you should have some talent that you're able to work with.
Well, sure. I mean, you just need one of them to be a all-conference player, and you're off to the races. And so, that's going to be this year is going to be big to see where Calandra can start and stop, with his progress. But then what type of legacy does he leave as far as leadership, production, development, because he still needs to get better. Moving forward with Trey Taylor coming in 2027, TJ Lateef, and obviously Daniel Kalen in the quarterback room right now. So that's when you think about 2026, Harrison, you're young. You weren't able to experience when we were rolling. You probably remember House of Spears and Dominican Sue, 2009 defense.
Yep, that's the peak.
That's the peak for you, right?
Defense could have beat anybody that year.
Yeah, right. Offense was a little suspect.
Yep, but the defense was pound for pound the best.
But that was peak for you, not only for defense, but wins and losses as well. So for you as a young fan, 2026, what are your expectations? What do you want to see? And what's your forecast for Nebraska football start to finish?
Well, I talked a little about with Farley, and I've been saying this a lot. I just want to see a team, like, we can get to the wins and loss totals, but just eye test wise, I want to see a team that looks better in the last regular season game than they do in the first regular season game.
Yeah.
Because I think that's just been a huge problem for us, and I think it's why we've unfortunately hit the offseason with a lot of questions, because I think we have fans wondering, it's like, man, I thought, especially when you're playing those non-conference games, whether it's Akron or Houston Christian, then you get to the middle of the season, you can maybe take care of some middle tier opponents, and then we get to some of those tougher opponents, but you're hoping to build up into a team that can compete with those guys, and we end up getting steamrolled. So it's like, are we just as good as when we started? Did we really get better? Did we somehow get worse? That's the thing I look for. And unfortunately last year, the way you lose those last 3 games, it's hard to say, hey, we got better as the season went on.
Yeah.
Because those last 3 games, it's hard to look at those scores and improve that, especially when you had a schedule with, you have Michigan with no Sharon Moore, you have Penn State with no James Franklin, you have a good Iowa team. I'll give you that. Not a very good Utah team. As far as the wins and losses, I think 8. I don't think there's any reason we should say, well, you got Indiana and Illinois and Ohio State and Iowa It's okay if we don't win a ton of games because the schedule's tough. Like that's just the most loser attitude you could probably have. And you do get an opportunity to be. Now you got to beat Michigan State, and I think it's Maryland, to be 5-0. But then you get to host the defending champions.
Right.
Like make Memorial Stadium scary.
And you do not know. Indiana is going to be welcome. They're going to be good. You don't know if they're going to be 16-0 good again.
Yeah.
And they're trying to break in a new quarterback. They lost a ton of offensive players. Obviously, a couple offensive linemen. A running back got drafted. 2 other ones got picked up. 2 receivers or 3 receivers got drafted. They lost their tight end and a couple guys on defense. So they do. They're Indiana's in. I wouldn't say rebuild mode, but they're reloading. They don't know how good Hoover's going to be at quarterback because he hasn't played for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was decently productive at TCU. So for Nebraska, I think. Definitely you want to be the non-conference 3-0. You want to ideally, go up to Michigan State road game and, break Fitzgerald back into the Big Ten properly. Because I think also Michigan State is a team that was pretty tough against Nebraska last year. But then also I want to make sure that you understand that, Fitzgerald over his last couple of years was not very good at Northwestern, right? And so, the aura around him is well over, a decade old. And so you got to make sure that you deal with Michigan State in the present. I think they'll be tougher. I think they'll be well coached. He's put together a really good staff, but it's still the first year of a staff being together and a new team that's got to, he's got to figure out how to build a cohesive team through this NIL and transfer portal era, which wasn't around when he was at Northwestern. So I think that's definitely a W. And then when you get into Maryland, extremely talented team. We went out there last year. They gave us everything you can handle. You got to beat them at home. You got to think you're going to have a desperate team, desperate coach coming here in Locksley, right? But a really, really talented coach as well. And then when you think about Indiana, Ohio State,
Oregon on the
road, those are games that that you don't get on the plane or get off the bus here going into the stadium thinking like, oh, let's just keep it close. Let's just be okay with we lost because of the schedule. As much as you just said, it's a loser mentality to lower expectations or standards based on the schedule. I also think it's the same way if you think that you had an easy schedule like last year and you think you can just kind of roll out of bed or whatever and go beat, teams that on paper that you should beat. I think you need to have a day-by-day type of mentality. Every day you want to win that day, and every opponent deserves your respect, and you got to treat them as such. And so when you think about it, you got Maryland at early homecoming, October 3rd. So then what would make that Indiana game October 10th, you're talking about big noon kickoff or college game day. Nebraska might be ranked then, depending on what everybody else. And then you got to play Oregon a week later at Oregon. And then you got, a bye week, and then here comes Washington. And then you got to go to Illinois, right? It's on a Friday. Then you got 8 days. Then you go to Rutgers, right? And that's a sleepy place to play. Rutgers could be 10-0. There are going to be 10,000 people there.
Yep. And then it'll be 11 a.m. most likely.
And then you got Ohio State, and then you have Iowa. So there is nowhere to hide on this schedule, but there is a lot of places to prosper, though.
Yeah, and again, I think you just got to look at that as an opportunity. And I think the eye test does matter to a degree. Like, can you see guys' roles, continue to develop them as they come along there? And you do have a new coaching staff in a lot of these positions, so that'll be another thing to keep an eye on. But, I think the other part to it is, you mentioned some of those other teams, like, you don't want to say we can't win a ton of games because the schedule's so tough. But to your point, like, not looking at some of those quote unquote inferior teams and thinking, okay, those are wins we can mark on our board. Because even just go to last year, whether it was Northwestern, that game was hairy until it was a kickoff return touchdown to open up the second half. That Michigan State game was hairy if it wasn't for some great special teams performances early in that game. Even Rutgers 2 years ago when they had Monungai, I think that was like a 7-0 game or something incredibly low scoring. Like, we're not even in a position to think that we're significantly better than any of those teams. It's been close battles with a lot of them. So you just want them to go out there, like, obviously respect their opponent, but again, show signs that, you can handle those middle tier opponents. And then when you're going to go play Indiana. You're going to go play Oregon. But I think Indiana is probably the best example of this. Like, we need to get back to Memorial Stadium's impact's got to mean something.
Yeah.
You know, go look at baseball hosting regionals. Well, they're hosting regionals because they went 24-1 at home.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, the better you play, the crowd will, get behind you. And so you can't depend on the crowd. I think I remember the Illinois game from a couple of years ago at night. Obviously, after we beat Colorado, the crowd was a factor, and the crowd deserved, and the fans deserved their just due.
But the players matched it.
But the players brought that out in them.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, it was electric before the game, but the good play in Nebraska dominating that first half is what allowed their fans or encouraged the fans to be a big factor in, that in that game. But I think the next week, I think the players probably could have, maybe depended on it, like the crowd was going to get you hyped up to play good versus understanding you played good against Colorado, especially in the first half. That's why the crowd was crazy. That's why it was electric, and that's why it was, very, very fierce. And so for Nebraska, when you look at it, there's no easy games on their schedule. Ohio is tough, well coached. Bowling Green has Eddie George as their head coach. They're on the uptick. You know what I'm saying?
They've scared people every year. I watch non-conference and Bowling Green play somebody. They're consistently scared.
Especially if you play at Bowling Green.
Yes,
I've been to Bowling Green. There's not a lot going on. North Dakota, obviously we played them after Northwestern. They're pretty tough. A few years ago after we played over in Ireland, and then you go on the road. Anytime you go on the road in the Big Ten, you got to expect that team is going to play a little bit better at home, right? Just like people should expect us to play well at home. Maryland's going to be tough, right? Every game's going to be tough. Indiana's going to be tough. Oregon's going to be tough. Washington, I think, is probably the most pivotal game.
And that's on the road, right?
No, it's here. So
okay, nice.
I think the 2 weeks that are most pivotal in this schedule, if everything holds true, right? Like I call it hold and serve, right? You win the games you're supposed to. You kind of maybe go 50-50 on them. Maybe the ones you want, or maybe you lose to Indiana and Oregon. I think when you have Saturday game to be determined as far as game time, Halloween, Washington at Nebraska, possibly a night game. There's history there, Washington and Nebraska, way back before you were around, right? And then the next week, already confirmed, Friday night at Illinois. There's history with that. Not like bad history,
right?
But the first year Matt Rule and company went there and had the fourth down goal line stand. You went on the road at Illinois. You remember when I think nice Mike Riley, they played Lovie Smith. They had all young guys. Then that was the team that Scott Frost played. That was a lot of guys that had, a couple first-round picks, second-round picks. Gabe Jackus just got picked this year, right? So you've seen it back and forth. Remember Cam Taylor-Britt took the, tried to field the fumble right before half. Big turnover in that game. So that's a big game there. And I guess you could say the 3-week stretch if you want. It's Washington at home, at Illinois, at Rutgers. 2 away games at places that are hard to play for different reasons. Illinois, because you expect Brett Bielema, the team, to be better than they were last year. And then at Rutgers, they're going to be well coached, and Shiano's is going to be physical, and it's way out there in Piscataway.
Yeah, and then you get that Washington game too. That one is circle. Washington's a team that's, I think, always a little bit underrated for whatever reason. I'm like, that's a very good opponent.
NFL talent like a mug.
Yes.
NFL talent like a mug. And then
that's why I asked you if we're on the road, I'd feel a lot more nervous about that Washington game.
I know Jed Fish a little bit. They have not traveled well, especially when they go to the East Coast. Now this is Midwest, so it might not be as bad. They haven't figured out how to travel.
No, it's one of the best home records. I think they were just behind Georgia on the street for a long time.
They're tough at home, and they've been putting a lot of guys in the NFL. I mean, wide receivers. They had a couple DBs drafted. I think their offensive line is going to be pretty good this year. Obviously, just freshly offered, not so far removed from being in the national championship game with Michael Penix and company. But then they have a really good quarterback. They had a really good running back this year in Jonah Williams. And they got his backup is going to start this year, well coached. And you got to think, the second, third year with Jed Fish being able to recruit and develop his way, that they're going to be a little bit tougher than normally if we would have played them in year 1 or year 2. So that's going to be a huge game on, a home game defending the turf, because the next 2 weeks you're on the road. those are not only tough teams to play, it's a tough part of the season. It's going to be cold, for the rest of the year. And you had already, maybe, had some highs, maybe some lows, and you got to go on the road 2 back-to-back mindset games. I think this schedule, want your opinion, is more of a mindset season and how you handle it.
Oh, I think 100%.
Right.
I think that's arguably the biggest part that's been missing from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Is mindset. And, and like when you just keep the conversation alive, you said hold and serve, but I think are you part of the national conversation? I think that's just what Nebraska has to do is respect every single opponent you get. Don't be scared of the Indiana team to get the snake bitten, get the whatever the Nebraska curse is. Stop thinking about the last time we beat a ranked opponent. Just go out there and play the dang game.
Yeah.
And I think and it's hard, right? I get it for probably some of the Husker football players with the media coverage and the fan base being as loud as it is. I'd recommend just deleting X or whatever it may be. But there is all that extra noise around this football program because this city wears Husker athletics like an umbrella. I think those guys got to do their best to just drown all that out. Don't listen to it. Don't pay attention to it. I like it if those guys are ticket listeners, but I get it if you're trying to lock into the season, keep all that extra stuff out of the way and then just lock in mentally. And, I think it's a huge reason you guys had so much success in the 90s. You had the willpower across all teammates to get the job done, but just a lot easier to keep distractions from becoming distractions.
Yeah.
There wasn't social media and all that stuff. And you guys were on workouts. You guys were accountable to each other. There was no Yahoo running a burner on X saying this is what we need to do or this guy stinks. Why is he?
We didn't have too many Kevin Durants.
Yeah, he didn't have too many of those. So I think, that's probably the biggest part with this football program. The limelight they get is fantastic as us as fans to indulge in. But I think for those football players, you got to really put all that stuff to the side because now everyone's getting paid. I mean, all these teams you play against, even if their season stinks, guess what? They're going to give you probably everything they got because NIL money's on the table. So I think, oddly enough, NIL is in one way actually helped competitiveness in some of these games because all these guys know that their contracts are at stake.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep that in mind when you're playing Maryland. I was looking, I think Miami, they spent $3.5 million on high school recruiting, $17.5 million on portal.
Yeah.
So like that just tells you there's always another stop for some of these guys that can prove that they're worth it. It's just that era of college football. You're not going to run into anybody who's going to lay over, even if they haven't got a single win on the season yet.
No, everybody's trying to, get their resume out there, which is your tape, right? And so what they have to do is like you said, respect everybody. And, Washington, when you look at their team, just in their starting lineup, they're going to be really, really in their old team up front as far as offensive line, a really old defense, except for the 2 corners that are gone playing in the NFL. But everybody else comes back, a really good quarterback, a serviceable running back, a decent tight end. And you just assume that Washington, wide receiver-wise, is going to be good because they always have been good. So you have your work cut out for you at home. And then so I think the best way for a fan and a player and the coaches, number one, I think dealing with success is dealing with success and dealing with, I guess, defeat or hard times go hand in hand around here. Because if you devil too much in the negativity, then you won't play well. Then if you devil too much in getting your the pats on the back and you have arrived or we're back or, lose a little bit of your edge, then you don't play well as well. So I think if they can adopt the mindset of, keep the main thing, they'll be just fine. And they got to understand the difference between, one of the things I think a lot of young athletes miss the mark on, not knowing the difference between doing something out of habit and doing something and working hard. Because I guess my example is a habit is you can go to the gym every day, right? But if you're not working hard, you're not going to see any results.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going out of a habit. Sure, you're doing a little something, but are you really pushing yourself? Get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, whether you're going to meetings, are you just at the meetings because you have to show up, or are you trying to maximize every meeting? Are you communicating effectively and all that? And are you winning in these off-season days? Look, the first game might be like September 1st or something like that. I mean, I'll look at the schedule. But when you think about it, you're in like June 1st. You're like, oh, I got plenty of time. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have any time because the time is now. And so that's where I think if they can really, really understand that, I think that's where, it really, really can help them, exceed expectations.
Yeah, just, I mean, to say it simply, like that's just all it is to get over the hump. We just have to get over the mental aspect of it. And because you look at the talent that Nebraska's brought in, we've gone through how many coaches, we've gone through quarterbacks, we've gone through different coordinators, position coaches, and none of it seemed to work to the extent that Husker fans have fully wanted it to. Now, credit Matt Rule for getting us to a couple of bowl games. I don't think that's nothing to sneeze at, 'cause if it was that easy, we would have done it, way earlier than what we did 2 years ago, since that 2016 drought. So he deserves some credit there. But yeah, it's just you got to stay hungry for that next step. Jay, while I got you, I did want to ask you, I don't know if I've ever got your opinion on this, but assuming that Halloween game versus Washington is going to be a night game, do you like the blackouts when they wear the black shirts?
Like this year?
Well, last year they did it for USC. I don't know.
But I mean, like
if they like they come out with black shirts again. Are you a fan of the yearly black shirt?
I mean, I like the way it looks.
Right.
I don't know if you should be doing it. I mean, I think you got to win. I think you need to handle it. I mean, I think you need to handle your business before we want to get cute. But it looks sweet though.
Yeah.
The whole place being blacked out, it looks sweet. So I can't say it wasn't. And I don't think wearing those uniforms are like make you lose though either.
Yeah, no, that's always my beef.
You know what I mean? I mean, I do understand that like Nebraska and all whites has not been a very good outcome. But if you played like, Houston Christian, you're gonna win.
Well, that's just it. Pick it. We didn't start wearing whites until we got into the Big Ten. I know. I couldn't tell you.
They did it a couple times, maybe before I got here. It didn't work out well. All reds or something like that. I just think the biggest thing that everybody needs to focus on and needs to be the main focus is winning. And then all that other stuff will happen.
I agree with you.
And it'll happen at the right time. Winning is the most important thing. You will get individual accolades from it just as much as if you went out there and only worried about yourself. You will get long-term, I guess, financial gains from it, obviously. You will have a reputation or, long withstanding, good reputation. And then also you'll be on the main stage. I think, Nebraska's had some talented teams, talented or players as talented as other guys that got drafted. I think the fact that they were on teams that were winning more at that point in time, that's why they got guys drafted. You get what I'm saying? I mean, if you think about it, and look, if you win more, you do have better players. But when you think about guys that were actually, good players here and then went on and did well as far as testing and then not getting drafted. Look at Nash, the polar bear. You're trying to tell me in 7 rounds he's not drafted? You get what I'm saying? But he goes down to Tampa. He makes the practice squad. Now he did eventually move to I think he's moving to offensive guard. But as far as a college player, 260-some, 70-some players drafted, he definitely probably was worthy of a 7th-round pick. And so, if Nebraska's win a little bit more, you'll see some guys get drafted, get opportunities based on that winning formula.
Yeah, and that's a big part, especially today in the portal era.
Yeah.
You got to have some NFL development.
Yeah.
I think that's why Fred Hoiberg's done a good job.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's not only the success with the tournament, but listen, why was he getting guys to come to Nebraska at all when we had zero history? Yeah, Isaiah Roby, Bryce Williams, even
Trey McGowan's,
Bryce McGowan's. I'm blanking on the Shireman. Not Shireman.
No, it wasn't Brandon Shireman.
Looks like Shireman.
You had your boy
Sam Griesel.
Sam Griesel. You had was it Bando or whatever his name is that's up there at Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, he's got guys. Delano Banton.
Yeah, Delano Banton. So he's done it. And Derek Walker. I wish Derek Walker could have played one more year.
He would have been so great in that system.
So, yeah, we'll take a quick break, come back. We'll give you a baseball update. They are inching towards the bottom of the 8th, I think.
Yeah.
Up 2-1.
Escaped a tough 7th. It was, they had a run and then bases were loaded and they escaped out of it.
Jay-Sean Unger represented. He was in a pickle and he was able to take a big bite out of that. So, Jay Foreman Harrison, Old School, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
If you're looking for a workplace that feels like home, Midwest Bank might just be the place. We're hiring a personal banker in Lincoln who enjoys helping others and being a part of a close-knit team. With great perks and a community-focused mission, you'll feel right at home here. Porque aquí todos son bienvenidos. Apply today at Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer. Member FDIC.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
3, 2, 1. The drop is live. Screens freeze everywhere, except yours. You've been training for this moment. And with Aloe Fiber's zero-lag precision, you strike first. No lag, no limits, just speed. Can your internet provider do that? Stay ahead of every drop. Visit aloefiber.com/all-in.
Do you ever feel okay in your current job and profession, but wonder if there's a better company that can offer more? Vision Mechanical is now hiring for journeyman plumbers and HVAC service technicians. Vision Mechanical offers top-of-the-industry wages, 100% paid health, disability, and life insurance, 401k with employee match, and paid holidays and vacation. Vision Mechanical believes in craftsmanship, teamwork, and building a better future, one project at a time. Apply today or learn more at visionmechanical.net or email Ron at vmech.net.
When Nebraska businesses win, we all win. And the Nebraska Chamber is helping make that happen. Tackling the tough stuff like job creation, affordable and accessible childcare, and building a stronger workforce. We're stepping up so local businesses can step forward. If you want to see Nebraska keep growing, keep competing, and keep winning, get connected with the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Learn more at nechamber.com.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2 for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long on the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket. Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Harrison, intertwines to put a bow on this week. Little Husker update. Dylan Carey just went deep right over left field. 15th home run of the year. Nebraska's up 3-1, bottom of the 8th. So a lot of momentum, a lot of red in the stands, representing and encouraging the Huskers. So the big break for the Huskers is to take the more than game South Dakota State pitcher deep, slow their momentum, because South Dakota State, I felt like, had a little bit of momentum. Nebraska was able to gain it back there, up 3-0, no outs. Either.
Nice.
So they're in business, and they're probably trying to wear the pitcher down. There's a whole bunch of psychology into taking pitches, and when you get the pitcher on the ropes and stuff like that. And so Will Bolton's staff is just kind of systematically trying to break down the South Dakota State baseball team and hopefully lead them to victory.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you want. I mean, day one, again, you never want to overlook your opponent. South Dakota State, by all means, I think it's a little bit of that psychology mentality of, like, you got a team who maybe doesn't have any expectations to win outside within their own locker room. So they're out there playing free. They're not going to maybe feel the pressure the same way that if Nebraska gets in a tight spot, the pressure builds onto them because, well, you're supposed to win this game. So, no, and then kind of circle back. That's why I'm happy they went out there with Carson Jassa, because obviously shut them down. And then they were able to get a run late in the 7th inning, had bases loaded, had the opportunity for more. Nebraska was able to get out of it. And they're holding on to a narrow 2 lead right now. And we've been looking at some of these scores across baseball here. Some of the upsets so far, on why you just don't want to look past your opponents. You had Milwaukee beat Auburn. You had Little Rock beat Southern Miss. What other unique ones do we got here? I said USC Upstate. They took down Oklahoma State. St. Mary's took down number 1 UCLA.
Yeah.
3-2. So again, just
St.
get
Mary's
this win.
usually a basketball school.
That's what I think of them as. Not normally the baseball dominant school, but they said, hey, what did UCLA even have for losses on the year? I think it was like 4. Absolutely unreal. So good for Nebraska. Take care of business. Not over yet. Only the bottom of the 8th inning right now, but they got 1 run,
They just hit
2 outs. That's quick.
They just hit into a double play. So they tried to bunt, and the South Dakota State third baseman charged it, made a great catch, and then obviously got the run on first out. So just like that in baseball, momentum shifts. Nebraska had it. South Dakota State had it before. Nebraska had it. Now they just got a little bit of momentum back defensively.
Able to get a run out of it.
Yeah.
At the very least. So 4-1 now.
Hold on. Another ding dong, though. Was it Greco? Grigo. Way downtown, bang. Another homer. Hey, just like that. And they got Husker power, stuff there in the fans. Listen. He golf balled. No, that was Buck. Grego hitting the double play. Buck came in and hit the home run. But he golf balled that bad boy, though. It was low and a little bit outside. He'd reach down and jack that thing. The guy, the right fielder, it didn't even run back there. It was gone.
He just
one
of those.
Yeah, but hey, look.
Wait till the 8th inning. It's not always ideal.
Yeah.
We find a way to
you must
pop
know more than
things
me.
off in the late innings.
Yeah. Well, look, you're up 4-1, and now you got the bats hot. Just like that, you hit into a double play. Probably wanted to get that ball on the ground. It kind of popped up, went off the top of the bat, and now you have the momentum back. So big deal there for Nebraska. Hopefully moving forward. I wanted to ask you about the softball team, because they play tomorrow against Alabama, and the expectations. And obviously, it's a big game again tomorrow. What's your feelings on? Do you feel like you're playing with house money now? They've reached the College World Series, won a game, probably going to win at least another one or two, and obviously they can get through with 3 or 4 wins. They'll be national champs. What's your feeling on this team, no matter the outcome?
They've accomplished a lot. Like, it's going to be a great season nonetheless for like the fan and support they've grown in this sport. But I think when you got a generational player like Fromm, and you got an elite player like Jensen who can also hop on the mound as a freshman at that, I think the expectations got to be higher. I think in the team it certainly is. You got a lot of older players. I think there's a lot of players on this Nebraska roster that they're not going to be satisfied with anything other than winning the College World Series. So Alabama's a really good team. Like, again, like if they lose to Alabama and they lose on this side of the bracket, like it's not, this season was a wash. But for how good this team is, you know, I think that's probably the expectation. I think people expect this to be one of the final teams to win the College World Series matchup.
The reason I'm asking, because, you know, with the expectations of the volleyball program versus obviously now the softball, and obviously you got great players. You got Harper Murray and all of them, and they're really, really good. You know, it's kind of like championship or bust now, right? This is the last year of them. You know, you got Andy Jackson as well, and you got great players, you know, in and out of the program. Is it the same? Because that's why I was asking, is it the same type of expectations, or is it a little bit different just because it's their first go round?
I think oddly enough, it's the same just because of how dominant this team has looked.
Yeah.
Like volleyball has consistently looked like that volleyball team. And I think with volleyball, because of the way it's formatted, like if we get into postseason, it feels like we can consistently set ourselves up in a good spot. Softball, baseball, it's hard when you get into these regionals. And when you crack through to the College World Series, it's kind of like, all right, we broke through. Let's try to go ahead and win this thing. Because you go look at all the great teams, and it's just really hard to go repeat and get back to back year in, year out in baseball and softball than it is for volleyball. Because for us, I know we lost to Texas A&M, unfortunately.
And they end up winning national championship.
Yeah, they end up winning national championship. We lost to Penn State. They end up winning.
Lost to Texas the year before.
They won the national championship.
Or beat us.
Yeah, so we get to like the semifinals, the finals a lot. And if we don't, we usually lose to the national championship somewhere that ends up making a run for it. So with volleyball, I just think it's a lot. When I say easy, take it with a grain of salt. But to put themselves in a position to where it's just single elimination, go out there, win the game. Baseball, softball's tough. That double elimination and the way the sport's played, there's no end, there's no clock. Sometimes teams just show up to the park red hot. In the case that we saw Lamar University get a win today.
Yeah.
Nobody had that on the radar, but the bats
Oklahoma
were hot.
State is losing to somebody I never heard of before.
I think the USC Upstate. I think is who they're losing to.
Yeah. I mean, you got blue bloods, and we're close to blue bloods in baseball getting trounced right now. And like you said, you don't want to lose the first game in the regional. And so then you're really, really got a uphill battle. So for Nebraska to be able to get through, they're in a good position, and now you got to continue along that process and make do on it, right? And so it's great that Auburn lost, but doesn't mean anything if you don't handle your business here in Lincoln. And so this is what they've been working for. And then as far as the softball team, they got a big challenge tomorrow. But I think as much as we're recognizing Alabama as a challenge, Alabama's recognizing Nebraska as a challenge too, or they better be. And have you been to any of the softball games?
Yeah, I've been to not a ton. I'm ashamed to say that I should have been to more, but yeah, I've been there a couple times this year.
The one thing I'm impressed with, the game is fast, man.
It's fun.
It's exciting and fun. TV doesn't do it any justice. And so, that's for me, they got a fan and from me, or a fan in me, because of the way that they play. They're really, really good, but then also the excitement around the game and how fun it is. I mean, it's high pace. It's exciting. It's not like baseball. Sometimes you could just
lollygag.
Lollygag and kind of like take a nap. But this is a lot of action, high pace.
Well, and I think the thing that's I saw a crazy stat. I think it was like 82% of softball viewership is like fans that are like 35 and under. Like they've grown tremendously.
Just like volleyball.
Yeah.
Like Nebraska softball and Nebraska volleyball has grown, female sports or females in sports, but then in particular in around Nebraska, you could say like the Dakotas and all that, like the 300 or 400 mile radius, they have been at the forefront of growing the sport. Jordy coming back has put Nebraska softball in another stratosphere, but it's actually grown the sport because she was a national she was a prominent national player before that, even though she was from Papillion. So, and then obviously volleyball, obviously with John Cook, and then obviously being able to take off and be consistent and tough has really grown not only volleyball throughout, the Midwest and especially in Nebraska, but women in sports as well.
Which game are you most excited for in volleyball? Since we're on, just because what a lineup that they have.
I know, man.
They have Wrigley Field, Jerry's World. They're playing.
I'd probably say Jerry's World.
That one seems interesting.
Yeah,
Wrigley Field, just because it's outside in the Windy City.
Yeah, that might be.
You've held a volleyball.
Yeah, you might
Doesn't take
play
a lot of
you
wind.
play the wind a little bit, but I think just Jerry's World is just a cool atmosphere. It's going to be really a cool experience for those young ladies to go and compete in Jerry's World.
I think it is the first ever women's sporting event in Jerry's World.
Yeah.
So again,
that lets you know where Nebraska's at, though.
Breaking boundaries left and right.
Breaking boundaries, but then they are a household product.
Well, and it's fun. We get to Jalen Reyes. He'll come in here on Tuesdays, and he's kind of broken it down, and he'll say it humbly, but they're at the point to where they take a lot of calls. Do you want to play here? Do you want to play here? Do you want to set up this event? They have to say no a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's how big they are, because they still got to make sure that they're putting good team together and they still have their focus on winning. But if their goal was to hey, let's just make as much money as possible, they could play at a lot of places.
Well, they're a cash cow, because guess who is not just a volleyball team that everybody wants to see? Nebraska fans travel in droves.
Yeah, they like to go to new cities just to watch the same team
and drink all their beer, just like they're probably doing out in Oklahoma City right now. I think I forget. I saw something on X that a commentator or whatever, it was like, holy crap, Nebraska travels.
Yeah.
And I forget what team it was from, but they were kind of shocked that many people are down there for Nebraska softball.
They're big fans.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think this is how these Husker sleeper cells happen.
Yeah.
I think we just end up showing up to bars,
making friends,
heavy tips. The waitress is like, I love Nebraska.
How could you be mad at people when they down there drinking beer and having a good time, breaking bread, eating,
providing just mountains of money and entertainment.
You jumping in that green, dirty river.
Boom, new sleeper cell of Husker fans.
Yeah, I know when I went to the Colorado game in Scott Frost's first year up there, Nebraska drank that Folsom Field out of beer by halftime.
It's impressive.
Completely out of beer. To the point that they had these silver cups, and it was going all the way from the 100 level seats all the way up to 200 or 300.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got so much respect for people who are able to throw down beers like that still. I get so uncomfortable
drinking
after. To your average Nebraska fan.
You ever seen? Yeah.
I'm a drop in the bucket.
But they're veterans, though.
Yeah. And I thought with age, it'd curb, but no, they just get stronger.
Oh, they get stronger. Yeah, especially if you see a big old Nebraskan with a power gut.
See, that's what I'm lacking. I haven't been determined enough to get the power gut. You got to push through to get the power gut.
It's not just beer. It's steak. It's a lot of bacon. You know what I mean? Lard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes, gravy.
And you got to build up your tolerance.
Lots of casseroles and Coors Lights.
Yeah. And Busch lattes, right?
Well, Coors Lights.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my problem. You don't get the iron gut with Coors.
Yeah, Busch Light, I think, has that effect, man, that power gut. So anyways, we'll take a quick break, come back. We'll give you a baseball update. Look like they're trying to close it out at the top of the ninth. They're up 4-1, one out, and see if they can push through and get the victory for Will Bolton Company, Jay Foreman, Harrison. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2% for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Power Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts, pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Do you ever feel okay in your current job and profession, but wonder if there's a better company that can offer more? Vision Mechanical is now hiring for journeyman plumbers and HVAC service technicians. Vision Mechanical offers top-of-the-industry wages, 100% paid health, disability, and life insurance, 401k with employee match, and paid holidays and vacation. Vision Mechanical believes in craftsmanship, teamwork, and building a better future, one project at a time. Apply today or learn more at visionmechanical.net or email Ron at vmech.net.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
3, 2, 1. The drop is live. Screens freeze everywhere, except yours. You've been training for this moment. And with Aloe Fiber's zero-lag precision, you strike first. No lag, no limits, just speed. Can your internet provider do that? Stay ahead of every drop. Visit aloefiber.com/all-in.
Farmers know it all starts with the soil. At Carbon Connections, they're helping you unlock its full potential. Their high-quality humic acid improves nutrient uptake, boosts root development, and enhances soil structure, so your crops get more from every acre. It doesn't stop there. With a full lineup of crop protection products, they help you reduce synthetic inputs while protecting yields and profits. Smarter inputs, healthier soils, better returns. It's time to grow more naturally. Visit Carbon Connections on Facebook or call them today at 402-947-1476 to learn how they can help your farm thrive. Carbon Connections, unlocking your potential.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman and Harrison. One quick segment here before we turn it over to Nebraska baseball post game. They closed it out there just that quick. Unger closed the door on them. Nebraska wins 4-1, gets through to the next game, which is the winner of Ole Miss and Arizona State that plays at 8 o'clock tonight. So hopefully the weather holds off and they can play, and Nebraska can watch and see who they're going to play next. But big shout out to the Huskers getting through. So we're 2 for 2 for our baseball and softball teams, and look forward to hopefully having a good, successful weekend of softball and baseball.
When was the last time this happened? Do you have like within the 90s?
Well,
do you have a point?
Well, I know that the Well, the one team in Nebraska, I think Java was on the team when they made it to College World Series.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, so they won a few. The softball team, I don't think, had won a College World Series game until last night. Facts.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah. So go on a magical run like Nebraska basketball, and it'd be all good. So appreciate you guys listening. Also, the support yesterday. Give a shout out to Harrison and crew back here holding it down for Give to Lincoln Day. A lot of stuff that they do behind the scenes, so we can be out in the community handling business at Cedars, and obviously at Matt Talbot and all the other nonprofits. Hopefully they had a successful Give to Lincoln Day, including the Lighthouse as well. So
and Nebraska Children's
Nebraska Children's
Foundation. People hung out with us.
Children's Museum, everybody. So anyways, and Junior Achievement as well. So we want to make sure that you guys listen to us next week. For Harrison, I'm Jay Foreman, Old School. We'll holler at you.